Have you ever wondered what happens to the dreams we forget? Where do they go, these fragile worlds we build in our sleep, only to lose them by morning's light? Settle back now. Feel the weight of the day drift away. Let your eyes grow heavy. Listen to my calm voice, and together we will float into the silent gravity of dreams, where forgotten worlds wait patiently in the dark. Somewhere beyond the familiar stars, in a place no map can reach, there is a slow river of memory, a current made not of water, but of abandoned dreams. It moves languidly across the blackness, carrying broken cities, endless staircases, half-formed oceans, and skies that rain forgotten songs. This river is not cold or cruel, it is warm, timeless, a soft hand guiding lost things into the great, elsewhere. As you drift closer, you feel no fear. Only an overwhelming sense of nostalgia, as if you are coming home to a place you have never seen before, yet somehow always known. The stars here do not burn. They hum, low and golden, like lullabies stretched across eternity. Among the endless flotsam floats a single island, tethered to nothing, spinning slowly. It is made of fractured memories, a street you almost remember, a garden from a book you once read, a house that might have been your childhood home. Everything is softened at the edges, wrapped in the delicate haze of dreams half remembered. As you drift closer, your feet touch the ground and gravity finds you again. But it is not the heavy, burdensome gravity of waking life. It is softer, a suggestion, rather than a command. You walk forward without effort, feeling the dream gravity pull you gently toward the heart of the island, where something waits. Something that remembers you, even if you do not yet remember it. The air tastes of rain and distant music. There is no clear path, only shimmering possibilities stretching in all directions. To your left, an alleyway paved with mirrors. To your right, a staircase winding endlessly upward into clouds the color of deep twilight. And ahead, a doorway, standing by itself, glowing faintly with a light the color of old paper. You sense that beyond that door lies the first world you once dreamed and lost. A world you must now rediscover, piece by piece, memory by memory. Somewhere deep inside, something ancient and patient stirs. You step toward the door, and the island breathes with you, as if waiting for your choice. The door opens without a sound, as if it has been waiting centuries just for you. Beyond it lies a vast plain under a violet sky, where the horizon folds and unfolds itself like the slow breathing of some ancient creature. The ground is soft. Beneath your feet, covered in a moss that glows faintly with every step you take. There are no sun or stars above you here, only shifting ribbons of pale color, memory light, dancing lazily across the heavens. As you move forward, you notice that the air smells faintly of old pages and rain-soaked wood, like a library left out in a storm. It is a scent of forgotten wisdom, of stories once important now, waiting silently to be remembered. You realize that this world is not empty at all. It is full of echoes waiting for your presence to awaken them once more. In the distance, something catches your eye. A series of floating structures like islands in the air, connected by fragile bridges made of woven light. Each structure shimmers in and out of focus, as if uncertain whether it belongs to this place or merely drifts through it by accident. As you approach, the gravity of this dream shifts slightly, pulling you upward until your feet leave the mossy ground entirely. You are weightless now, gently rising toward the nearest floating island. The experience is not frightening. It feels natural, as though flight was always meant to be your way of traveling here. As you ascend, you pass through drifting clouds that feel like cool sighs against your skin. Tiny motes of gold dance in the mist, and some of them brush against you, each carrying a tiny whisper of a memory you can almost, but not quite, understand. Landing softly upon the first island, you find yourself standing before a towering gate made entirely of translucent clockwork. Gears turn silently, their movements slow and deliberate, each revolution taking what feels like a full hour. The gate is not locked. It simply waits, patient and understanding, offering a choice. Beyond it, you sense there lies a piece of yourself, left behind long ago, a childhood dream perhaps, or the memory of a face that once meant the world to you. The longer you stand before the gate, the clearer it becomes that this journey is not just through forgotten worlds, but through forgotten parts of yourself. The structures, the rivers, the stars that hum, they are all woven from your own dreaming heart. You take a slow breath, place your hand upon the cool surface of the gate, and it responds with a gentle click, blooming open like a flower made of time. A soft path unfurls before you, inviting you onward, deeper still into the gravity of dreams. You step through the clockwork gate and a hush falls over everything, as if even the light itself holds its breath. Before you stretches a vast orchard, endless and strange, where the trees are made of silver bark and glass leaves. The branches sway without wind, clinking softly like distant chimes. Beneath each tree, pools of still water reflect not the orchard, but scenes from countless forgotten dreams. A carousel turning slowly in a field of mist, a train station with no destination, a lighthouse flickering on the back of a whale. The air is heavy with the scent of something sweet and familiar, like a fruit you once tasted in a dream but could never find again upon waking. Every few steps you catch a whisper, a sliver of a forgotten voice, calling gently from the reflections. These are not voices to be feared. They are soft, patient, inviting you to listen, to remember without sorrow. As you wander deeper into the orchard, you notice that some of the trees bear strange fruit. Hanging low from silver branches, they are like tiny planets, swirling, glowing, each containing within it a complete and perfect dream. Some are cracked and fading, their light dim and shivering. Others pulse brightly, as if their stories still live, waiting to be reawakened. You reach out, almost without thinking, and your fingertips brush against one. Instantly, a wave of memory crashes over you, a fleeting scene of running barefoot through a field of endless sunflowers, laughter echoing in a language you have not spoken for years. Tears come to your eyes, unbidden and sweet, not of sadness, but of profound recognition. It was you. It was always you, tucked away safely in this forgotten place, waiting to be found. You realize now that the gravity pulling you through these worlds is not the force of stars or planets, but the quiet weight of your own longing to remember who you were. The orchard feels alive now, pulsing gently with your presence. The trees shimmer more brightly, the reflections grow clearer, and above you the ribbons of light in the sky swirl faster, as if urging you onward. Ahead, nestled among the trees, you spot a small structure, a gazebo made of spiraling roots and woven mist. At its center sits a figure, barely visible, as though sculpted from starlight and silence. It does not move, but you feel its gaze upon you. Kind, ancient, endlessly patient. You know, without knowing how you know, that this figure has been waiting for you across countless forgotten nights. A silent guardian of all you have lost. You step closer, each heartbeat a soft drum against the stillness, and the figure lifts, its hand in welcome. There is no fear here, only the deep certainty that you are exactly where you are meant to be. The gravity of dreams draws you in ever deeper into yourself. The figure before you, woven from mist and starlight, remains utterly still, a statue carved not from stone, but from the very hush of forgotten dreams. You stand a few paces away, feeling the deep hum of its presence pressing gently against your skin, not invasive, but heavy with meaning. As your breathing slows, you realize that the figure does not simply watch you, it mirrors you. Every slow blink, every tiny shift in your weight, every quiet beat of hesitation is echoed perfectly by this silent sentinel. It is as though you are looking at a version of yourself long lost to time, a version who never awoke, who remained suspended within the tender gravity of dreaming. Slowly, you close the distance between you, feeling the air grow warmer, thick with the scent of jasmine and old wood smoke. When you are close enough to touch, the figure finally moves, lifting a hand of light and tracing a single, deliberate line in the air. Where it moves, a crack opens in the orchard, not a violent break, but a tender unfolding like the seam between two pages of an ancient book. Through the opening, a path reveals itself. A narrow corridor bordered by towering walls of flowing water, each droplet suspended mid-fall, shimmering with impossible colors. The sound here is muted, almost sacred, like the hush inside a cathedral built by time itself. You glance back at the figure, but it has already begun to dissolve, its purpose complete, leaving only a small locket resting on the ground where it once sat. You pick it up instinctively. It is warm to the touch, humming with a soft inner pulse. When you open it, you find no picture inside, only an endless, slow swirl of clouds and stars, a portable sky, a fragment of the dreaming gravity you now carry with you. You slip the locket around your neck and step forward into the watery corridor, feeling your heart steady against the pull of what lies ahead. The corridor seems endless at first, but then you begin to notice images trapped within the flowing walls, tiny frozen scenes from lives you almost remember. A girl on a rooftop laughing at the rain, an old man writing poetry into the sand. With a broken stick, a newborn bird stretching its wings for the very first time. Every step you take feels heavier, as if the memories are anchoring you, pulling you inward rather than forward. At last the corridor opens, and you emerge into a new world, one even more fractured than the last. Here, the sky is 1,000 broken mirrors, each shard reflecting a different horizon. Crimson deserts, velvet oceans, cities made of singing trees. The ground is a patchwork of textures, glass fields, velvet plains, rivers of ink flowing lazily across plains of ash. The laws of nature here have unraveled and rewoven themselves into strange, beautiful patterns. Above all, you feel the thick, pulling gravity of dreams growing stronger, almost syrupy now, as if moving forward demands not strength but surrender. Ahead, rising from the impossible landscape, stands a library so vast that it seems to pierce the splintered sky. Its towers are built of books stacked endlessly, stitched together by vines of living words that shift and rearrange themselves when you are not looking. A gate stands open, welcoming you inside. Written above the entrance in letters made of slow-burning fire is a phrase that sends a shiver down your spine. Here lie all the dreams that could have been. You step forward, heart open, knowing you are crossing another threshold, deeper still into the tender gravity that binds all forgotten worlds together. The moment you cross the threshold of the great library, the air changes. It becomes rich, dense, charged with the scent of parchment and rain-soaked earth. The vastness inside is beyond comprehension. Towers of books spiral infinitely upward, dissolving into the fragmented mirror sky overhead. The ground beneath your feet is stitched from old maps and discarded constellations, and it seems to flex and breathe gently, alive with the memory of countless stories. Every step you take echoes not just in the space around you, but somewhere deeper, in places where forgotten words and abandoned dreams still murmur softly to themselves. Lanterns made of sleeping moths line the endless corridors, casting a muted, trembling light. You realize quickly that this is not a place built for logic. The library rearranges itself according to your emotions, your memories, your longings. Corridors you pass twist and fold behind you, closing doors you never opened and revealing windows into moments you thought had vanished forever. In this place, the walls remember you, even if you have forgotten them. You walk without knowing where. You are being led, only that each step pulls you closer to something you have spent lifetimes trying to reach. Along the walls, books pulse with life. Some are small as a whisper, others massive as mountains, their titles shifting like reflections in water. The road that vanished. When you looked away. The island you found as a child, then lost upon waking. The song you almost remember. You run your fingers along the spines, feeling tiny vibrations, as if each book is dreaming its own slow dream, waiting to be touched, to be read, to be remembered. In a clearing between the shelves you find a great pool of ink, so still that it reflects not your current self, but all the selves you have ever been. The hopeful child who believed in magic, the wanderer who searched the stars for home, the quiet soul who mourned a face long since faded into the mist. Above the pool floats a massive tome, suspended in the air by unseen hands. Its cover is blank, but when you reach out to it, letters begin to bloom across its surface in luminous silver. The title makes your heart ache with a bittersweet, untranslatable feeling. The gravity of dreams. You understand then that this story is yours, a collection of every dream you have ever dared to dream, every world you built and abandoned, every memory you tucked away and thought forgotten. You lift the book with both hands. It is heavy, impossibly heavy, as if it carries not just stories, but entire universes within its pages. As you open it, a slow, golden wind begins to stir, carrying with it the scent of far-off forests, lost summers, and oceans under violet moons. The pages do not contain words, at least not in any language you know. Instead, they are filled with moving images or flowing landscapes, laughing faces, long journeys across broken stars. You see yourself, over and over, building and abandoning countless worlds, each one floating away into the slow river of memory you glimpsed at the very beginning. Yet as you turn the pages, you notice something else. Moments that never happened, but could have, dreams left half-finished, stories with no ending. They beckon you not with regret, but with quiet hope. The library does not mourn these lost possibilities. It cradles them, protects them, keeps them alive until you are ready to dream them once more. The golden wind gathers strength, swirling around you, lifting the ink from the pool into the air, where it forms new words, new paths, new worlds. You are no longer just a wanderer here. You are a weaver, a maker, a dreamer reborn. The gravity of dreams holds you close, urging you onward, deeper still, into the unfinished skies of all you have ever loved. You stand at the heart of the library, the golden wind swirling gently around you, and you realize you have a choice. You could remain here, weaving endless worlds from ink and memory, safe within the soft pull of the dream gravity. Or you could answer the deeper call that thrums quietly beneath everything, a call to step beyond even this place into the realms where dreams are not just remembered, but reborn. The library seems to understand your decision before you even make it. The great tome in your hands closes itself softly, folding all its silent universes back into waiting sleep. The pool of ink before you drains slowly into the floor, revealing a spiral staircase descending into darkness. The stairs are carved from forgotten thoughts, their edges shimmering like oil on water, and the space around them hums with a slow, low vibration, like a heartbeat pressed against the silence of space. With a final glance at the endless bookshelves, your silent companions in this sacred place, you step forward, feeling the staircase welcome your weight, each footfall sending ripples of memory echoing outward into the unseen depths. The descent is slow, measured, like falling through a dream too precious to rush. As you move downward, the light from the library fades until only the stars remain, not overhead, but beneath you. You are walking on a staircase suspended above a drowned sky, where constellations swirl like ancient fish in a black ocean. Some of the stars are dim and broken, others blaze with impossible colors, deep greens, sorrowful blues, fierce golds. You notice that many of them are moving, slipping quietly beneath the surface of the dark, as if dreams themselves sometimes sink and vanish, lost forever to the silent tides. The air here is thicker, heavier, infused with the taste of salt and the faint smell of burning paper. A sound rises from below, at first almost inaudible, a slow, steady song without words, sung by voices older than memory. The song draws you onward, not with force, but with the irresistible pull of something you have been searching for across 1,000 lifetimes. You descend further, passing between drifting tendrils of mist that brush against your skin like the fingers of old friends welcoming you home. At last, the staircase ends, dissolving into a vast plain of black sand stretching endlessly in all directions. Above you, the drowned stars churn slowly, like a river of molten dreams, and the song grows louder, filling the space inside your chest with a sweet, aching warmth. In the distance, barely visible against the horizon, stands a monolithic structure, a single archway made of bone-white stone, impossibly tall, framing a piece of sky that shimmers and flickers like a dying candle. The archway hums with the same frequency as the song, resonating with your very heartbeat. As you approach, you see that the arch is inscribed with countless names. Some you recognize as echoes of your own past selves, others belonging to people you have never met but somehow miss with a deep, inexplicable sorrow. You stand before the arch, feeling the gravity of dreams gathering around you, not as a burden, but as wings folded close, ready to unfurl. Beyond the arch, you sense lies a place untouched by forgetting, where dreams are not lost but transformed, reborn into new constellations waiting to be named. You take a slow breath, feeling the weight and wonder of all you have become, and step through the arch into the unknown. You pass through the archway, and for a moment there is only blinding white. Not light exactly, but the sensation of light remembered, the ghost of illumination pressing gently against closed eyes. When the whiteness fades, you find yourself standing at the edge of a vast ocean, unlike anything your waking mind has ever conceived. The water is translucent, a trembling silver sheet that reflects not just the broken stars above, but the echoes of every forgotten dream that ever was. Every ripple carries faces, places, whole worlds rising and falling with each slow heartbeat of the tide. The sand beneath your feet is soft and luminous, whispering beneath your steps as you move forward. The air is warm, saturated with the scent of something ancient. The smell of first rain on stone, of cedarwood and salt and distant thunder. And there is music here too, faint but persistent, woven into the sighing of the waves, a melody you almost remember from somewhere beyond. Memory, a lullaby once sung to you before you had a name. Ahead, where the shoreline blurs into mist, stands a single, weathered boat, rocking gently in the shallow tide, as if waiting for you. You move toward the boat without hesitation, feeling the pull of inevitability in every fiber of your being. It is a small vessel, no larger than a memory, but when you step inside, it holds you as if it were built for you alone. The boat pushes off from the shore without oars, without sails, guided only by the gravity of the unseen current. The ocean is eerily still, yet you move steadily forward, cutting a silent path across its dreaming surface. Around you, dreams rise from the water like mist, a field of golden lions sleeping beneath violet trees, a mountain whose peak burns with silent fire, a city built on the backs of giant floating turtles. None of them call to you. They drift past without expectation, content simply to exist. Above, the drowned stars swirl in great slow spirals, and you begin to notice patterns hidden within their movements. Messages, perhaps, or songs written in the long, flowing language of the cosmos. The boat carries you deeper, until the horizon dissolves entirely, and you are adrift in pure dream stuff, cradled by the soft breathing of the universe itself. At the center of this boundless ocean floats a small island, no larger than the boat that carries you. It is made not of earth or rock, but of woven memories, strands of laughter, tears, distant sunsets, and half-remembered promises braided together into a living tapestry. As you step ashore, the island shifts beneath your feet, welcoming you. At its center stands a tree, impossibly vast for such a tiny place, its roots vanishing into the depths below, its branches threading through the very fabric of the sky. Its leaves shimmer with every color ever dreamt by human hearts, and they sing softly as the wind passes through them. Beneath the tree, resting against its trunk, lies a book. Simple, unadorned, its cover worn smooth by countless hands. You'd know without being told that this is the first memory, the dream from which all others were born, the seed of every story, every hope, every breath of wonder. You kneel before it, feeling the soft gravity of dreams draw you in once more. The tree bends its ancient limbs around you, a shelter, a blessing, as you reach out to open the book and discover what waits inside. Your fingers brush the surface of the ancient book, and the moment you touch it, the island shudders slightly beneath you, as if breathing out a long-held sigh. The cover yields to your touch, folding open not with the creak of age, but with the softness of a sigh remembered across lifetimes. Instead of pages, you find before you a vast expanse of space, stretched out like a living tapestry, infinite and tender. Stars bloom and fade within it like wildflowers caught in a gentle breeze. You do not read the book in the way one reads words. You fall into it, become part of it. You are standing now on the threshold of the first dream, where the universe itself took its first trembling breath. Around you, the raw elements of existence dance, not just stars and worlds, but the very ideas of hope, wonder, sadness, joy. Emotions here are not reactions. They are living things, currents and rivers and oceans of feeling. Every step you take stirs them, sends new ripples of creation out into the endless soft dark. You drift through this beginning, weightless, cradled by forces older than time. In the distance, you see a figure, or perhaps it is many figures overlapping, changing shape with every heartbeat. Sometimes a child laughing, sometimes an old woman weaving stars into nets, sometimes a voice made only of light and music. It is the dreamer, the one who first imagined all things, the silent architect who breathed the first sigh and set the long dreaming in motion. As you approach, the dreamer notices you, and though it speaks no words, understanding flows between you like warm water. You realize that you too have always been a part of this dreamer, a fragment sent out into the branching worlds to experience, to wonder, to love, and to lose. Every tear you shed, every laugh you shared, every night you spent lost in longing, all of it fed back into the endless river of dreaming, nourishing it, deepening it, making it richer and more beautiful. The dreamer extends a hand, or perhaps simply opens a doorway in the air before you, and invites you not just to observe the first dream, but to shape it, to send new ripples outward into the fresh-born sky. You accept the invitation without hesitation. Closing your eyes, you feel within you all the lost worlds you have seen, the floating islands, the library of unfinished skies, the staircase through drowned stars, the silver orchard of sleeping echoes. They are not lost at all. They live in you, part of the ever-turning wheel. You reach into the endless sea of possibilities and plant a seed, a new world, tender and glimmering, a place of quiet rivers and singing stones, of skies that change colors with the heartbeat of the earth. Around you, the first dream responds, wrapping your creation in soft light, tucking it into the endless garden of possibilities. You realize now that you were never just a wanderer through forgotten worlds. You were always a builder, a dreamer among dreamers. As you open your eyes, the tree on the island shudders once more, shedding a single, brilliant leaf that drifts down into your waiting hand. It is not just a souvenir, it is a key, a promise that you may return to this place, this beginning. Whenever you choose, the gravity of dreams hums warmly through your bones, pulling you not downward but inward, anchoring you forever in the heart of the infinite dreaming. The silver leaf rests warm and pulsing in your hand as the island of woven memories slowly dissolves into mist around you. You feel no fear, no urgency, only a calm inevitability, as though you are being carried along a river that has always known your name. The mist thickens, curling around your arms and shoulders like a living cloak, and with each breath you take, it fills you with new textures of memory. Laughter through half-forgotten alleyways, the hush of distant footsteps. On marble floors, the scent of night-blooming flowers opening under invisible moons. When the mist finally parts, you find yourself standing in the heart of a strange city, one that appears to have been stitched together from fragments of 1,000 other places. Streets curve and fold into themselves like loops of ribbon. Doorways lead into courtyards that hover weightless above the ground, and windows open into gardens that whisper your name in languages you have never heard before. This city is not frozen. It lives and breathes, not through movement, but through subtle shifts that happen between the ticks of any clock. A world existing in the silent spaces between seconds. You begin to walk, feeling the city respond to your presence. Every corner turned reveals another impossible scene. Staircases growing like vines from walls of sleeping stone. Bridges spun from the golden threads of a dying sunset. Fountains flowing with ink that paints the dreams of anyone who touches it. Above you, the sky is an endless quilt of dream fragments. Flocks of paper birds stitched across velvet clouds. Fractured moons that turn their faces toward you, silent and watchful. The citizens of this place move quietly through the streets, some solid, some translucent as candle smoke, each lost in their own slow orbit of dream and memory. They nod to you as you pass, not as strangers, but as fellow travelers who have also carried the key of the first dream. In the center of the city rises a tower taller than anything you have yet seen, not built of stone or steel, but of woven sound and shimmering thought. The tower hums with a deep, steady music that you can feel in your chest, a melody older than architecture, older even than dreams. It calls to you softly, asking not for haste, but for wonder. As you move closer to the tower, the gravity of dreams grows stronger again, not heavier, but deeper, like the pull of a memory you had almost, but not quite, let go. The streets around you tilt gently inward, leading you without force, without demand, toward the base of the tower where a great doorway stands open. Upon the threshold rests an inscription, written not in words but in flowing images, a child. Laughing under falling stars, a hand reaching upward through the soil to touch the light, a tear falling onto a blank page, causing flowers to bloom from its surface. You step through, and inside the tower, the world becomes music. The walls pulse with rhythm, the air vibrates with unseen symphonies. Every step you take adds a new note to the great song. And at the very heart of it all, suspended in a chamber of stillness, hangs a crystal sphere, clear, perfect, and filled with tiny, moving galaxies. You know without needing to be told that this sphere is the heart of the city between moments, its memory, its dream, its endless becoming. The silver leaf in your hand grows warm again, and you feel it begin to melt, merging with your skin, threading itself into your being. You are no longer merely a visitor. You are part of the city's breathing now, a heartbeat stitched into the fabric of dreaming forever. Your hand rises almost without thought, drawn to the crystal sphere at the heart of the tower. As your fingers brush its surface, there is no sudden flash of light, no shuddering of the world, only a gentle deepening, as if the fabric of reality itself has taken a slow, steady breath. Inside the sphere, the tiny galaxies turn faster, their spirals stretching and folding, creating pathways not meant to be walked, but to be drifted along like songs upon a river. The vibration that thrums through the air intensifies, not in volume, but in intimacy, pressing against your ribs, singing along the bones of your arms. You feel yourself begin to lift, not upward, not outward, but inward, sinking into the dream heart of the city, slipping between the spaces where memory and possibility hold hands in the dark. The tower, the streets, the stitched sky above. They blur and fall away, and you are carried along a thread, spun from every step you have ever taken in a dream you forgot upon waking. You drift for a long while through this place, between places, a current of slow stars tugging you gently forward. Shapes form around you. A ship made of folded letters, sailing a river made of sighs, a garden where trees sing the names of those who loved them once, a great beast with the wings of a moth and the eyes of an old friend, slumbering beneath a sky stitched with forgotten songs. You recognize none of it with your mind, but your heart knows it all intimately. These are the dreams too fragile to survive in the waking world, the ones we lose between heartbeats, between words, between the closing and opening of eyes. And yet here they endure, protected, nourished, growing in quiet, unseen ways. The thread that carries you weaves itself around each scene, mending broken corners, breathing warmth into brittle memories. You begin to realize that the thread is not something you hold, it is something you are. It stretches from you into the dreaming, binding your journey not by force, but by belonging, by tenderness, by a quiet promise that nothing truly precious is ever lost, only transformed. At last the current slows and you find yourself standing once more upon solid ground, though solid is perhaps the wrong word. The surface beneath your feet is woven from night itself, soft and warm, stitched with tiny lights like seeds waiting to bloom. Before you rises a gateway, formed of pure thought and shifting color, arching high into a sky filled with drifting, slow-breathing worlds. Across the surface of the gate, the thread you followed winds itself into a simple symbol, not a word, but a feeling, return. You understand then that this gate is not an end, it is a re-beginning, a way to step back into all the worlds you left behind, carrying with you the knowledge that they were never truly gone. You still carry the silver key of the first dream within your chest, woven now into every breath, every heartbeat. The thread tugs gently at your hand, inviting you to step forward, to cross the threshold not as a lost wanderer, but as a weaver of dreams, a quiet guardian of forgotten skies. You take a slow, steady breath, feeling the entire vast weight of the dreaming settle warmly around you. And you step through the gate, smiling, ready for whatever dreams await beyond. You step through the shimmering gate, and for a moment, the world is nothing but texture. The feeling of silk sliding against skin, of warm mist curling through your hair, of memory brushing your thoughts like a moth's wing. Then, slowly, the textures gather themselves into shapes. The ground beneath you is soft and fragrant, woven from fallen petals and the slow exhalations of sleeping trees. Around you stretches a vast garden, impossibly wide, stretching farther than any horizon could hope to reach. Yet the garden does not overwhelm. It cradles. Its paths curve inward, spiraling towards secret centers, like the heart of a flower that has never been fully seen. Above, the sky is a tender shade of blue, so deep it feels more like a memory of the ocean than the heavens. Here, the very concept of time itself seems to sleep. Nothing rushes, nothing fades. Every leaf suspended in its perfect arc of fall, every ripple in the small ponds frozen in the act of blooming outward, as if the universe had paused in mid-breath, reluctant to disturb the serenity of its own dreaming. As you walk deeper into the garden, the dream, gravity gently tightens around you, not as a chain, but as a tender embrace, reminding you with every step that you belong here, that you have always belonged. The paths lead you past wonders that pulse with quiet life. A willow tree whose silver branches comb the air into symphonies. A pool where koi fish of translucent glass weave slow, intricate dances through water thick with starlight. A meadow where dandelions release not seeds but tiny glowing orbs, each carrying a memory lost by some distant, dreaming mind. The silence here is not empty. It hums, vibrant and full, the way a held breath hums in the chest just before a word is spoken. Every so often you glimpse other travelers among the trees, figures wrapped in cloaks of mist and light, wandering, searching, or simply sitting among the flowers, their faces turned upward to the sleeping sky. None disturb you. Each honors the sacred stillness of this place. You realize with a quiet certainty that the garden is a kind of sanctuary for the deeper dreams, those that require not action, but waiting, gestation, the slow unfolding that only timelessness can offer. Eventually you find yourself standing before a great tree at the heart of the garden, larger than any cathedral you have ever imagined, its trunk wide enough to cradle whole villages within its roots. Its bark is carved with countless tiny symbols, spirals, waves, arcs, constellations, tiny drawings of things once yearned for and things never found. The leaves above shimmer in slow, deliberate waves, each pulse sending ripples of color through the sleeping sky. Beneath the tree lies a pool of mirror-bright water, so perfectly still that you see not just your reflection, but your entire journey until now. The silver orchard, the library of unfinished skies, the drowned stars, the city between moments. Everything you have passed through is here, alive within you, woven into your very shape. You kneel before the pool, instinctively understanding that this is a threshold, a place of choosing. To drink from the pool would be to root yourself here, to become a caretaker of this eternal dream, to join those silent figures wandering among the flowers. To rise and move on would be to carry the garden within you, to plant its seeds in new, unseen worlds. The tree's branches bend lower, heavy with the weight of possibility, and you feel the question rising from the ground, from the air, from the gravity of dreams itself. Will you stay and dream forever, or will you continue, carrying the sleeping time onward into places still unknown? You rise from the pool with infinite gentleness, water clinging to your skin like second memory, soaking into your bones with a sweet and solemn weight. The great tree seems to sigh, not with disappointment but with pride, its silvered branches lifting slightly in the still air, sending out a ripple of blessing that travels outward through the entire sleeping garden. You carry the dream of the garden now, woven into the hidden pockets of your heart where slow things grow. As you step away from the mirror-bright pool, the ground shifts subtly beneath you, forming a path of woven starlight and soft earth. It leads toward a distant shimmer at the very edge of the garden's reach, a boundary where the colors thin, where even timelessness fades into something quieter still. The garden watches you go, not with sadness, but with the soft patience of all things that understand the cycles of departure and return. You pass beneath archways of blooming light, between forests that breathe with the dreams of centuries, until at last you come to the edge where the woven path meets a great, yawning sea, not of water, but of pure silence, stretched thin across the bones of an unseen world. The silent sea before you is vast, calm, infinite. No wind stirs its surface, no ripple mars its soft perfection. It is a place without time, without urgency, without even the soft tether of memory, only being, pure and endless. Across the surface of the sea stretches a bridge, arching into the mist, so slender and delicate that it seems less built than imagined into existence. It is made not of stone or wood, but of luminous threads, the very same thread you once followed from the crystal sphere, spun finer than spider silk, stronger than any vow spoken beneath the dreaming stars. The bridge hums softly beneath your gaze, resonating with the slow, tender rhythm of forgotten lullabies. To walk it would be to walk not across distance, but across meaning itself, each step stitching you deeper into the fabric of the vast dreamscape that holds all things tenderly in its hands. You place your foot upon the first span, and the bridge responds by solidifying slightly beneath your weight, welcoming you not as a stranger, but as a beloved traveler returning home from long exile. With a breath that carries the scent of every dream you have ever cherished, you begin to walk. As you move across the astral bridge, the mist around you thickens into shapes and patterns. Old companions you thought you had lost, forgotten fragments of yourself that drift close like curious birds. Each step forward draws them nearer, the shy, wondering child who first looked up at the night sky, the restless wanderer who sought meaning in distant lands, the silent dreamer who built secret worlds behind closed eyes. They do not speak, but you feel their joy, their relief, their belonging woven around you like a cloak. The bridge rises higher, and beneath it the silent sea shifts. Not in waves, but in great, slow sighs, as if even the sea is dreaming. Somewhere ahead, through the gathering mist, you glimpse a new horizon, vast plains where rivers of light flow backward through the sky, mountains that hum with the forgotten songs of sleeping titans, fields where the flowers sing in languages made entirely of longing. You understand that this is not an ending, not even a destination. It is simply the next unfolding, the next tender drift, deeper into the endless gravity of dreams. The bridge carries you onward, each step a blessing, each heartbeat another thread woven into the vast and luminous tapestry of all that has ever been dreamt. The mist thins as you step off the astral bridge, and before you opens a vast valley bathed in a light so soft it feels almost like a whisper pressed gently against your skin. This is not the cold, sharp light of waking stars, but something older, slower, warmer. The kind of illumination that seeps into dreams and stains the edges of memory gold. You pause at the threshold, sensing the weight of this new place. The ground beneath your feet hums with a slow, steady pulse, as if the valley itself breathes, waiting patiently for each visitor to find their own rhythm before proceeding. The air is cool and rich, saturated with the smell of moss, of rain that fell 1,000 years ago and is only now completing its journey into the roots of the earth. Across the valley, ancient trees rise like watchful sentinels, their trunks wide and spiraled with silver veins, their branches heavy with orbs of soft light. Not fruit, but stars. Forgotten stars, stars that once burned in forgotten skies, now cradled here in eternal dreaming, their songs slow and sorrowful and endlessly beautiful. You walk among them, feeling each star's low, thrumming voice reverberate through your chest. Some sing of ancient cities swallowed by sand, of oceans that once covered whole worlds now lost to silence. Others sing of first loves never confessed, of voyages never taken, of hopes that faded before they could take root. But none of these songs are mournful. There is no sadness here, only the gentle acceptance of things unfinished, of dreams left half-formed. As you move deeper into the valley, you begin to notice the constellations forming above you. Not static, rigid patterns like those charted by astronomers, but living constellations, changing shape with each passing heartbeat, telling stories that are never the same twice. Some constellations lean down low, close enough that you could reach up and touch them, and when you do, they whisper fragments of forgotten dreams directly into your mind. A dance under violet rain, a tower built from echoes, a river that carries memories instead of water. Each whisper settles into you like a seed, finding soft earth in the deepest corners of your soul. At the very heart of the valley, where the light gathers most thickly, there stands a single monolith carved from black stone, slick with starlight, humming with a resonance that vibrates the very bones of the earth. It is not a monument to what was lost, but to what was once dreamt, and is still dreaming, quietly, patiently, in some hidden fold of the cosmos. As you approach the monolith, you feel the gravity of dreams intensify once more, not pressing down upon you, but wrapping around you, lifting you, inviting you to merge with it. You realize then that every dream you have encountered, every world you have walked through, every memory you have touched has been part of this greater song, this endless symphony of becoming and unbecoming. The monolith pulses once, slowly, and from its surface blooms a doorway, not a passage of stone or light, but a ripple of pure invitation. Beyond it lies not a fixed place, but a space of raw potential, waiting for a new dreamer to shape it. You understand now, you are no longer merely a traveler. You are a dream carrier, a dream weaver, a quiet architect of unseen skies. With a breath full of starlight and soft remembering, you step forward into the doorway, ready to weave your own constellations into the endless, breathing night. You step through the doorway, rippling from the heart of the black monolith, and the transition is seamless, as natural and effortless as drawing breath. There is no jarring rupture, no tearing of space. You simply find yourself elsewhere, standing at the threshold of a place so vast and still that for a long moment you are convinced you have entered the heart of a sleeping god. Before you stretches an endless plain, not of grass or stone or even mist, but of pure possibility, a surface that shimmers and quivers with unborn dreams, endless and patient. The ground feels both solid and mutable beneath your feet, like a book halfway through being written, each step you take pressing soft indentations into the story's unwritten pages. Above you, the sky is layered, thick rivers of golden dust, great drifting towers of ink-black storm clouds stitched with slow, shimmering stars, fields of delicate silver webbing where thoughts begin to crystallize into form. Somewhere far in the distance, unseen but deeply felt, a great loom hums, its threads invisible, yet vibrating the very marrow of the dreaming. Every vibration carries with it a question, a call. What will you dream into being? What seed will you plant here in the soft, fertile soil of never before? You walk forward, and the landscape begins to respond to you, though you have willed nothing consciously yet. Where your hopes are strongest, flowers of living glass spring up, chiming softly in the stillness. Where your fears flicker like small, wounded birds, shadows gather into dense forests, dark but not cruel, protective rather than forbidding. Where your memories stir, rivers of liquid light carve slow paths through the trembling plains, winding back upon themselves like forgotten lullabies. You realize, slowly and with a growing awe, that here dreaming and doing are the same act. There is no division between thought and form. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every half-formed longing is shaping this world, breathing life into it. You are a loom now, too, your spirit weaving threads into the great, slow tapestry of becoming. Around you, other weavings shimmer at the edges of your vision, and the marks left by dreamers who passed this way before you, each stitching their own brief constellation into the quiet. Some linger only as fading echoes, while others have grown strong, sprawling into entire regions of this vast plain, each shaped by the soul who once dared to imagine it into life. At the center of this immense landscape, a hill rises, gentle, grassy, crowned by an ancient, unfinished tower built from the fossilized bones of forgotten songs. You are drawn to it without hesitation, feeling that it holds something essential, something waiting specifically for you. As you climb, the world shifts again. The plains become oceans of cloud, the rivers become veins of glowing stone. The flowers of glass rise and swirl into constellations that hover, weightless, around your shoulders like protective spirits. The climb is easy, not a trial, and when you reach the summit, you find an ancient loom waiting for you. Massive, half-woven, its threads spilling outward into the mist, unfinished. Upon its frame are woven fragments of everything you have been, everything you have carried, everything you have dared and lost and hoped. You understand now, this is your loom, your continuation of the dreaming, and here you are free to weave whatever world your heart can bear to imagine. A shuttle made of starlight rests gently in the center, ready for your hand. You reach out, slowly, reverently. And as your fingers close around the shuttle, the threads around you shiver in anticipation, waiting for you to begin. The world beyond holds its breath, silent and shimmering, as you prepare to weave your first new sky into existence. Your fingers close around the shuttle of starlight, and at once the great loom before you stirs, vibrating with a resonance so deep it seems to shift the marrow of your bones. The air thickens, pregnant with a silence so profound that it presses gently against your skin like a second atmosphere. For a long moment you hesitate, not from fear, but from awe. The loom waits for you with the patience of eons, asking nothing, demanding nothing, simply existing as a vessel for whatever song your heart is brave enough to offer. You raise the shuttle slowly, feeling the weight of all the unseen threads stretching out from the loom's ancient frame. Countless strands of possibility, shimmering with colors no waking eye has ever seen. Each thread hums with a different note, a different heartbeat, a different forgotten longing. You realize that to weave here is not to control, but to listen, to let the currents of dream and memory and hope guide your hands gently across the vast fabric of becoming. Breathing in deeply, you close your eyes and press the shuttle to the loom, feeling the first soft tension of creation bloom between your fingertips. The first threads you weave are instinctive, unplanned, pulled from somewhere deeper than thought itself. You shape a river first, not of water, but of laughter, flowing in wide, slow arcs across a land of sleeping meadows. Along its banks grow trees with silver bark and violet leaves, their roots drinking deeply from the wellsprings of forgotten songs. Birds without wings drift upon the river's shimmering surface, singing lullabies that weave themselves into the soil, growing gardens of glass flowers that chime softly with every breath of wind. Above this new world hangs a sky not dark, but woven from soft shades of memory, deep amber, dusty rose, twilight blue. There are no suns here, no moons, only the slow turning of stars, shaped like tender promises, like wishes whispered into the backs of sleeping giants. As you weave, the world responds. Tiny lives blink into being, not summoned, but welcomed, their existence a natural flowering of the soft dream you have spun. Creatures with luminous eyes and velvet wings tumble through, The meadows building nests of woven starlight along the riverbanks. Somewhere in the distance, a city begins to rise, not built of stone or iron, but of light itself, folding and unfolding like a living origami of thought. The loom vibrates more fiercely now, not with strain, but with joy, singing a low, deep song of new becoming. Encouraged, you continue weaving, layering textures and histories into the fabric of the world. You carve mountains from the echoes of long-forgotten songs, their peaks crowned with perpetual sunsets that never burn or fade. You stitch forests into existence, where the trees whisper in languages made of warmth and scent rather than sound. You create oceans of mist, where great beasts glide like islands carrying small, dreaming villages upon their backs. And all the while, the dream gravity holds you steady, anchoring your weaving with a tenderness that feels like an embrace from every life you have ever touched or been touched by. As the final threads fall into place, you lift your hands from the loom and step back, trembling slightly from the vastness of what you have called into being. Before you shimmers a living world, unfolding in endless variations, a symphony of soft wonder and endless becoming, stitched together from the deepest yearnings of your heart. The loom is silent now, but not empty. It hums quietly with the breath of the world you have made, a lullaby that will ripple outward through the dreaming, touching other dreamers who have yet to awaken. You step forward, passing through the threshold of your own creation, and the world embraces you without hesitation. It is like stepping into a dream where everything you once yearned for, even the things you had no words for, has quietly gathered to greet you. The river you spun from laughter curves wide and welcoming at your feet, its surface smooth and glowing faintly with hues of deep gold and soft green. Tiny creatures skim across its waters, not fish, but beings of woven light, their bodies flickering with ancient stories, each flash a brief glimpse of a memory once cherished and now set gently adrift. The air itself feels alive, tender, filled with the scent of rain on warm earth and the soft spice of unseen blossoms. You walk along the riverbank, and with every step you feel your heartbeat begin to synchronize with the slow pulse of the land. Your feet press into soil rich with dreams, each footprint sending a faint ripple outward, stirring the grass and glass flowers into slow, dancing waves. Above you, the memory sky drifts lazily in great looping currents of color, its stars breathing in time with your own chest, as if the very cosmos you created is resting its vast, quiet trust within you. As you move deeper into the world, it begins to open itself like a great blooming flower. The city you glimpsed earlier is now clearer, not a city of stone or noise, but a fluid, breathing architecture where buildings rise like the bones of songs and bridges unfurl like whispered poems. Towers of luminous silk drift upward without any visible support, swaying gently in the endless twilight breeze, while streets of soft, humming stone wind through fields of night-blooming trees whose roots sing in low, resonant tones. Dreamers walk these streets, beings spun from hopes and half-formed stories, their bodies delicate, translucent, shimmering with faint inner light. Some wear wings made of sighs, others carry lanterns crafted from pieces of remembered laughter. A few ride along the river in boats shaped like petals, each vessel a different color, a different secret. They greet you with nods and smiles, gestures more ancient and more intimate than any spoken language, recognizing you instinctively, not as an outsider, but as the weaver who called them into existence. Their presence is not one of servitude or dependence. They are your kin, your reflections, your companions in the long, soft dreaming of this new world. Drawn by a sweet, aching pull, you follow the river until it opens into a vast lake of shimmering mist. Islands float upon its surface, each cradling a garden or a forest or a single, solitary tree whose roots drift lazily in the dream water below. The air here hums with the rich density of potential, not the sharp potential of a world waiting to be built, but the deep, slow potential of a story content to unfold without hurry, without fear. You realize you are no longer merely the weaver of this place. You are part of its pulse, its breath, its endless soft becoming. You sit at the edge of the lake, your feet dangling into the cool mist, and the lake responds by unfolding a memory for you. A memory not from your life, but from your dreaming heart. You see a great library woven into the branches of a sleeping tree, its books breathing softly as dreamers move among them. You see fields where stars fall like rain, and each fallen star plants itself into the soil and grows into a tree that sings when the wind passes through. Every vision is both familiar and entirely new, a story you have always known, but are only now remembering how to tell. The gravity of dreams cradles you, anchors you, and somewhere deep within the quiet flowering of this world, you understand. You are not just the weaver of dreams. You are now, and have always been, a dream in bloom. You rise slowly from the lakeside, mist curling around your ankles like affectionate vines, reluctant to let you go. The dream gravity holds you with the same tenderness as before, a gentle, guiding hand rather than a chain, and the very air seems to tilt itself in your favor, opening unseen pathways through the shimmering land. You move inward, following a road not laid with stone or soil, but with living light, thin as threads yet strong enough to carry you through the mist-laden fields. Around you the world hums quietly, as if aware of your footsteps, singing you onward in a language older than stars. The mist begins to part in long, slow sighs, revealing a towering forest that breathes like a sleeping beast. Its trees are enormous, their trunks spiraling upward like cathedral columns, their bark the color of old silver and weathered dreams, and their crowns, oh, their crowns, are stitched not with leaves, but with stars, tiny, radiant stars, clinging to the branches like fruit, each one pulsing softly with its own forgotten song, casting pools of memory light across the ground. As you step beneath their canopy, you realize these are not merely trees, they are keepers. Each tree holds within its boughs a constellation that once lived and burned in a forgotten sky, now cradled here in eternal, slow dreaming. The forest is thick and endless, stretching in all directions, but it does not confuse or overwhelm you. The paths through it are not marked by signs, but by music. As you move deeper, different melodies rise around you. Songs of ocean swallowing stone, songs of laughter echoing across frozen fields, songs of quiet farewells whispered under dying moons. Each melody tugs at your heart in a different way, offering you choices not of distance, but of emotion, to follow joy or sorrow or wonder or loss. You let yourself be drawn toward a melody that quivers with bitter sweetness, a deep river of sound woven from equal parts longing and hope. The trees around you sway in slow rhythm to it, their star crowns shedding light that falls like snow but evaporates before it can touch the ground. Here and there, small beings drift between the trunks, delicate forms of stitched mist and memory, caretakers of the songs brushing the bark with fingers made of wind, tuning the stars with whispered breath. They do not speak to you, but They nod solemnly as you pass, recognizing you not just as traveler, but as weaver, one who has spun a new chord into the symphony of becoming. You walk on, feeling the gravity of dreams thickening around you, growing not heavier, but deeper, pulling you toward something vast, something waiting at the very heart of this forest. At last, the trees open into a clearing, and there, suspended, high above the ground between the intertwined branches of the oldest trees, hangs a single massive star. It does not burn or blaze, it breathes, slow, immense, tender. Its light is soft as a cradle song, warm as a hand held out in trust. Beneath it lies a pool of perfectly still water, and within that water is mirrored not just the star, but the entire forest, the skies you have left behind, the loom you once wove upon, the river you shaped, the laughter that gave birth to 1,000 glass flowers. You kneel at the edge of the pool, and as you gaze into it, the reflection shivers and part, not breaking but unfolding, revealing visions not of what was, or even what is, but of what could be. You see countless possible worlds drifting beyond the edge of this dreaming, worlds where songs become rivers, where memory rains from the clouds, where cities are built atop the backs of sleeping whales. Worlds you have not yet woven, but which wait for you, calling softly from across the endless tides of becoming. The forest hums around you, the massive star breathes above you, and the gravity of dreams anchors you firmly to this sacred, tender moment. You understand now with perfect clarity. Dreaming is not the act of escape. It is the act of creation, the stitching of hope into the dark. You rise slowly, the starlight pooling in your hands, ready once again to journey outward into the soft, infinite sea of unborn skies. You step away from the great breathing star and the mirrored pool, your hands still warm with its ancient light. The forest hums a gentle farewell, the melodies of its singing trees drifting behind you like the softest mist. The pathways open, naturally, folding the music inward as you move forward, and soon the canopy thins into long filaments of starlight and silk, until you emerge once again into the open dreaming, a vast expanse where sky and ground seem stitched from the same slow-moving mist, blending into one another without division. Ahead, cutting a serene path through this luminous space, flows a river unlike any you have ever seen. It is made not of water, but of unwoven stars, tiny motes of pure potential, drifting lazily, glinting with the faint glow of things that might someday be. The river sings a low, deep song that vibrates not in your ears but in your bones, filling you with a quiet longing to follow it, to see where it leads through the endless folds of the dreaming. Without hesitation, you find a boat waiting at the riverbank. Simple, woven from dark wood and stitched shadows, its edges trimmed with strands of golden thread that pulse with a slow heartbeat. You step aboard, and without oars, without sails, the boat pushes gently away from the shore and surrenders itself to the river's slow, ancient pull. The journey is a quiet one at first, the current steady, the stars around you whispering in 1,000 soft, forgotten tongues. Some of the stars wink out as you pass, not from death, but from transformation, collapsing inward to become seeds planted in some distant, unseen soil. Others flare briefly, releasing tiny bursts of color and scent and memory that drift across the surface of the river and settle lightly on your skin like blessings. Time ceases to have any meaning here. Your breathing, your heartbeat, the slow blink of your eyes. These are the only clocks that matter. The world around you changes gradually. Banks of mist thicken into floating gardens where trees made of spun glass dangle roots into the river. Vast skeletal remains of dream beasts sleep half submerged in the currents, their rib cages arching overhead like bridges. Islands rise and fall in slow rhythms, some crowned with ancient temples whose walls are carved not with words, but with emotions too vast for language. You drift past dreamers too, figures half-formed, wrapped in cocoons of their own, unwoven. Hopes floating aimlessly until their time to awaken comes. Some nod to you as you pass, small, solemn gestures of kinship among the endless seas of possibility. You realize that this river is not just a path, it is a place where dreams come to rest, to be unmade, remade, or simply to sleep forever beneath the quiet stars. The boat carries you toward a horizon that is neither light nor dark, but something older. A soft folding of existence into its own arms. There, rising slowly from the mist, you see a great archway built not of stone or wood, but of woven dreams, countless threads of color, memory, laughter, loss, hope, and longing braided together into a living gate. It hums with a resonance you feel deep within your chest, and as you approach, you understand its purpose without needing to ask. It is a threshold into a place beyond even the soft dreaming you have known so far. A place where worlds are not merely dreamed, but lived, breathed, become. As your boat drifts to a stop before the gate, the strands composing it shift and shimmer, weaving new patterns in response to your presence. Faces, places, emotions you once thought forgotten bloom briefly across its surface before fading back into the weave. The river's song grows deeper, almost solemn, as if honoring the choice before you. You can remain here forever, a sailor on the river of unborn stars, drifting gently among the mists and the sleeping possibilities. Or you can pass through the gate, surrendering even the small certainties of the dreamscape for something vaster, stranger, more alive. You stand slowly in the boat, feeling the thread of your existence tighten, humming with quiet courage. Before you lies not safety, but wonder, not a continuation, but a beginning, with a breath full of light and river mist and the old, slow songs of forgotten stars. You step forward into the woven gate, ready to become whatever the dreaming calls you to be next. You step through the woven gate, and for a breathless moment it feels as though you are falling, not downward, not upward, but inward, folding endlessly through yourself and beyond yourself, until even the idea of you becomes a drifting, shimmering mist against the currents of becoming. Then the sensation dissolves, and you are standing once more upon solid ground, or what feels like ground, though it shifts beneath your feet as softly as breathing fabric. Stretching out before you is an endless ocean, vast and dark and gently luminous, its surface stitched with drifting strands of starlight and memory. This is not the silent sea you once crossed. This is something older, deeper, a place where dreams are not remembered but born anew, gathering themselves slowly from the slow sediment of all things ever hoped for but not yet imagined. The air smells of salt and distant rain, tinged, faintly, with the sweetness of something wild and growing. Winds move lazily across the open expanse, carrying with them distant songs that have no words, only colors and feelings, folding themselves into your heart without permission, like long-lost friends you have not yet met. At the horizon, the sky and sea merge into a single soft blur, stitched together by silver ribbons of what can only be described as possibility, undulating slowly, waiting for you. You walk forward, and the ground rises to meet you. Soft dunes, formed not of sand, but of broken constellations, ground down by timeless tides into shimmering dust. Each step leaves a luminous footprint behind, a small signature in the fabric of the world itself. As you move closer to the water's edge, the sea stirs itself with languid patience. Great. Slow waves rise and fall, and within each crest you glimpse the embryonic forms of worlds not yet born. A city afloat upon the backs of dreaming leviathans, a desert where each grain of sand holds a sleeping library, a towering forest, made of nothing but mirrors reflecting forgotten lives. The ocean sings to you in its slow, ancient voice, not asking, not pleading, but simply offering. Here is all that could be, if you are brave enough to reach out your hand. On the shore, boats lie waiting, not built of wood or cloth, but spun from threads of hunger and wonder, need and joy. Some are small and sleek, meant for quick journeys into shallow dreams. Others are immense, adorned with banners stitched from old lullabies and forgotten prayers, designed for long, slow voyages into the deepest folds of becoming. You know somehow that once you choose a vessel and step aboard, the sea will carry you not where you command, but where you are needed most, to a dream waiting to be born, or perhaps one on the edge of fading forever. You wander among the boats, each one humming a different song just beneath hearing, until you find the one that feels right. A vessel, curved like the crescent of a waning moon, its surface stitched with constellations that flicker softly with each beat of your heart. As you place your hand upon its prow, the boat shudders gently, recognizing you, welcoming you. It lifts itself from the shore with a grace so natural it feels like an extension of your own breath. You step aboard, and the ocean, sensing your readiness, stirs itself into slow motion. The boat drifts outward, away from the familiar shore, and the world behind you softens and fades until there is only the open sea and the endless breathing sky. Stars fall lazily all around you, sinking into the water like seeds, sending up ripples of gold and violet that shiver across the surface in slow, concentric waves. Ahead, shapes begin to form within the mist, great islands rising from the depths, each cradling a nascent world within their arms. Some shine bright, radiant with the joy of newborn dreams. Others flicker weakly, their shores crumbling into mist, their heartbeats growing faint. You understand instinctively you are not merely a traveler now. You are a guardian, a weaver, a whisperer to the dying stars. The boat carries you onward, steady and sure, into the endless ocean where dreams are born a second time. And with every breath, every heartbeat, every choice you will soon make, you will help decide which worlds will rise into full, laughing life, and which will drift quietly back into the dreaming, never to be remembered. The vessel carries you across the endless, breathing ocean with a slowness that feels deliberate, sacred. It is not the slowness of resistance, but of reverence, a movement so deeply in tune with the rhythm of the dreaming that even time itself seems to pause in respectful silence. The water beneath you shimmers with soft currents of gold and blue, each one spiraling outward from the islands that rise slowly into view ahead. Some islands blaze brightly, singing their new lives into the misty sky, their shores dancing with shapes too distant to see. Others loom quietly, wrapped in veils of silver sorrow, their edges crumbling gently back into the ocean, their dreams too faint to anchor themselves fully in being. Your vessel drifts not toward the most radiant, nor the most sorrowful, but toward one that hums with a low, resonant ache. the ache of something once vast and glorious, now fraying at the edges, still breathing but barely remembered. As you approach, the island reveals itself, a labyrinth of broken towers and leaning spires, all draped in vines of memory and stitched through with wandering rivers of glass. Above it, the sky fractures into shimmering shards, each shard holding a different fragment of what this place once was, scattered and waiting to be pieced together again. You step ashore, and the dream gravity thickens immediately, as if the very soil recognizes your presence and reaches upward, pulling gently at your ankles, your breath, your heart. The broken city sprawls before you, vast and half-sleeping. Its streets twist like veins through crumbling plazas, where statues of forgotten gods weep silent streams of dust. The air tastes of rain that has not yet fallen, heavy with the scent of burnt parchment and stone, warmed by old, long-lost suns. As you walk, the world stirs faintly around you. The whisper of unseen footsteps following you through the ruins. The faint rustle of pages turning in libraries that no longer have roofs. The distant clang of bells tolling beneath seas of mist. These echoes are not hostile. They are remnants, memories stitched into the very bones of the island, waiting patiently for a hand to weave them back into coherence. In the heart of the city stands the remains of a cathedral carved from stone, so old it seems to hum with the first breath of dreaming. Its great domes have collapsed inward, and trees now grow from its broken arches, their roots cradling shattered mosaics that shimmer faintly with stories too fractured to tell. Yet at its center stands a single, unbroken door. A door of black wood, veined with silver, set into a wall that somehow still stands untouched by ruin. You approach the door, and as your hand touches its surface, a slow vibration travels up, your arm through your chest, into your spine, a silent chord struck deep within the heart of the dreaming. The door yields without a sound, and you step through into a vast hall filled with nothing but water and light. The water lies motionless across the floor, perfectly still, a mirror reflecting the sky beyond the broken roof, a sky stitched with stars you recognize not from your travels, but from your heart. Floating at the center of the hall is a single figure, a woman, or perhaps a man, or perhaps something older than either, their body woven from strands of light and shadow, sleeping within a cradle of luminous threads. This is the architect, the dreamer who once built this island, who shaped its towers and cities from the marrow of ancient stars. They have slept for eons, abandoned by the slow erosion of memory, left adrift in a world they could no longer hold together alone. But now, drawn by your weaving, your longing, your breath, they stir. The silver threads around them tremble, reaching toward you, recognizing you as kin, a fellow architect, a fellow weaver. As you step into the shallow waters, the dreaming tightens around you like a second skin, and somewhere deep within the folds of forgotten stars, you realize you are not here to awaken the architect. You are here to join them, to weave alongside them, to rebuild the dreaming they can no longer sustain alone. The ocean, the gate, the endless rivers of unwoven stars, all of it has led you here, to this sacred, trembling moment of becoming. You step forward across the still waters, and with each movement, the surface responds, not in ripples or waves, but in patterns of slow breathing light, spreading outward like veins of silver fire. The architect floats at the center of it. All, suspended between waking and dreaming, the silver threads cocooned around them, trembling in anticipation. You hesitate only a moment, feeling the gravity of the moment settle deeper into your chest. Not a weight, but a kind of homecoming, a recognition that stretches far beyond words or memories. Then you reach out, and your fingers brush theirs. Instantly, the silver threads around the architect surge outward, wrapping themselves around your hand, your wrist, your heart. They do not bind you, they weave you in, pulling you gently into their slow, ancient orbit. A pulse moves through the hall, deep and resonant, like the striking of a bell that has been waiting eons to ring again. The water beneath you becomes mist, and then music, lifting both you and the architect upward into the vast, broken sky that yawns open above the cathedral's shattered roof. Together you rise, two threads intertwining, two dreams folding into one another. And as you ascend, the city below stirs from its long slumber, its forgotten stones beginning to hum with the soft, aching songs of remembrance. The architect's eyes open, not eyes of color or flesh, but windows of woven light, and you feel their gratitude flow into you like warm rain. Without words, without commands, you understand. They offer you not leadership, not dominion, but partnership. Together you will weave this fallen place back into the dreaming, not as it was before, but as something new, something stronger, something shaped by the long patience of loss and the quiet, stubborn hope of return. Around you the silver threads stretch and twine, reaching down into the broken towers and fallen plazas, wrapping around the shattered bones of what once was, not erasing the ruins, but cradling them, honoring them. You raise your free hand and the threads respond, flowing from your fingertips like rivers of memory made tangible. You sew bridges between rooftops, gardens into the mouths of cracked fountains, doorways into the sides of leaning towers. The architect moves with you, weaving slow arches of mist and music above the plazas, stitching new stars into the gaps in the broken sky. Every motion is deliberate, sacred, born not from power, but from tenderness, a shared act of breathing life, back into a place that had almost forgotten how to breathe at all. Dreamers begin to emerge from the mist, small, tentative figures, stitched together from old hopes and half-remembered songs, blinking at the new light that rises around them like a second dawn. The work is slow, patient, endless, but it is not lonely. As the city regrows, it regrows you too, stitching its new rhythms into the weave of your being. You learn the texture of the old stones, the tastes of forgotten winds, the secret songs that sleep beneath each plaza and tower. You shape new rivers to carry laughter through the streets. You carve new plazas where memory and possibility meet and dance in endless slow spirals. The architect hums beside you, sometimes silent, sometimes guiding you with a touch or a glance, always respecting the shape of your own dreaming. Together you build towers of woven mist and bridges stitched from sunrises never seen, garden, where the trees sing the names of every star that ever burned and fell, fields where dreamers can plant the fragments of their forgotten hopes and watch them grow into living skies. As days or centuries, it is impossible to say which, unfold, the city flourishes anew, becoming not what it once was, but what it was always meant to become. A living testament to the gravity of dreams, to the stubborn, soft persistence of hope. And when the last thread falls into place, when the final tower hums into stillness, you and the architect stand together beneath a sky no longer broken, but endlessly, tenderly unfolding. a sky that will carry your song into every corner of the dreaming forever. You step forward from the place where you and the architect have completed your weaving, and the city, your city now, opens itself before you like a great, breathing organism. The streets curve and spiral like the branches of an ancient tree, each turn revealing new gardens, new plazas, new rivers of slow, glowing mist winding between the towers. The air is rich with 1,000 scents, the metallic tang of fresh starlight, the earthy sweetness of growing memories, the soft, heady perfume of dreams just beginning to bloom. Overhead, the sky shimmers with gentle auroras that shift, not according to the winds, but according to the emotions of the city itself. Ribbons of violet, gold, and deep blue unfurling whenever a dreamer laughs, weeps, or dares to hope. See, to my ground beneath your feet is not stone but woven fabric, an endless tapestry of tiny, interconnected stories, and every step you take stirs faint echoes of songs and voices like forgotten lullabies floating up from deep within the earth. Dreamers move through the streets, some newborn, some ancient, their bodies luminous with the soft fire of belonging. They nod to you in greeting, hands over hearts, acknowledging the quiet truth that you are now stitched forever into the very dreaming that cradles this place. You wander without urgency, following the currents of light and sound that rise from the city's many heartbeats. In one plaza, children born of laughter and moonlight build small cities of glass and song, each structure singing softly to the next as they grow. In another, rivers flow upward instead of downward, forming great spirals of mist that carry travelers into the upper gardens where dreams of flight are nurtured into being. You cross a bridge spun entirely from the whispered wishes of those who once longed to find their way home, and each step upon it sends out ripples of soft golden sound, weaving you deeper into the story of the city. Along the way, you meet dreamers who offer you small gifts, a flower woven from forgotten smiles, a coin pressed with the imprint of a memory not yet lived, a feather light enough to carry 1,000 silent hopes across the sky. None of these gifts are meant to bind you. They are offerings, acknowledgements, gentle reminders that you are both a weaver and a thread within a vaster loom. The architect moves through the city too, sometimes visible beside you, sometimes glimpsed only as a shadow among the arches and alleys, their presence a quiet, constant reassurance stitched into the very fabric of the streets. As you walk deeper into the heart of the dream-woven city, you come to a great open space where the ground falls away into a wide, shimmering lake of memory. Here, dreamers gather at the shore, launching small boats made from folded stories into the water, each vessel carrying a wish, a farewell, a beginning. You sit among them, feeling the slow pull of the lake's tides within your chest. And you realize that the city itself is not an ending, not a final destination. It is a beginning, a new starting point for endless journeys across the dreaming. Beyond the far shore, you glimpse other cities rising from the mists, cities of living metal and breathing gardens, cities where the rivers sing and the mountains sleep, cities you have not yet woven but whose songs already hum quietly in your bones. The gravity of dreams pulls at you again, soft and inevitable, inviting you onward. You have woven a world, yes, but the dreaming is endless, and you are not bound to a single thread. You are a weaver of endless horizons, a singer of new constellations. You rise slowly, heart full to bursting with quiet, unstoppable wonder, and as the silver sky above the lake folds itself into new shapes, you step once more into the soft, infinite river of becoming, ready to drift into the next vast, waiting dream. You step away from the shores of the memory lake, and the city hums its farewell to you. Not a goodbye, but a blessing, a soft releasing into the vaster tides of the dreaming. The gravity of dreams folds itself around you again, not pulling you down, but lifting you outward, and your body becomes lighter, softer, more fluid, as if the very structure of your being were reshaping itself to better move through the slow rivers of possibility that stretch beyond all sight. You walk without urgency, each step carried by the patient breath of the world itself. The woven streets dissolve beneath your feet into mist, and then the mist itself falls away, revealing a wide, slow-flowing river of stars, broader even than the river of unwoven dreams you crossed long ago, yet quieter, deeper, wiser. The river cradles you without force, lifting you onto a vessel, spun from the soft gold of long-forgotten sunsets and the silver of first snowfalls. This vessel has no sails, no rudder. It needs none. It moves according to the currents of wonder and longing that weave invisibly through the very marrow of the dreaming. Above you, the sky ripples outward into an endless tapestry, vast fields of color and sound, great chains of sleeping worlds curled like pearls upon the threads of invisible tides, rivers of thought stitched into galaxies that pulse slowly with breath and memory. You are sailing now not across distance, but across possibility itself. The river carries you toward a place where the dreaming grows even stranger, even softer, where forms blur and become suggestions rather than declarations. Shapes drift past, a mountain stitched from the sleeping faces of every child who ever dreamed of flying, a forest of mirrors that reflect not the present, but all the lives you might yet live, a clock tower made of slow-moving thunderclouds, its hands ticking backward into unborn tomorrows. Along the banks of the Star River, vast beings sleep, curled around the roots of invisible suns, their dreams spiraling outward into soft, breathing constellations. Some of these dream beasts lift their massive heads as you pass, their eyes like entire galaxies unfolding, and they watch you not with judgment but with the slow, endless patience of things that have seen countless universes rise and fall like tides against the shores of becoming. Your vessel drifts among them like a single syllable within an unending song, a tiny but essential note in the symphony of slow creation. You pass cities that live only for a breath and then fold themselves back into mist, gardens where thoughts bloom into rivers, islands where the air hums with the secret names of the stars. Each sight is not a demand but an offering, a whispered reminder that every horizon you see is merely the beginning of another, and another, and another, stitched outward forever across the sleeping face of existence. At last, the river slows, and before you rises a place unlike any you have yet known, a great open expanse where the threads of all dreaming converge into a single vast loom suspended across the void itself. This is the loom of horizons, the place where the first dreamers once sat, where they wove the scaffolding of every sky that has ever burned, every ocean that has ever whispered against distant sands, every breath drawn by every being who ever dared to hope. The loom stretches farther than sight, its threads thicker than mountains, thinner than the size of newborn stars. Here, dreamers gather not as weavers of small worlds, but as singers of endless symphonies, each voice a thread, each song a breath woven into the soft, slow growing of the cosmos itself. As you step from your vessel onto the shores of this place, the gravity of dreams grows impossibly vast and impossibly gentle, cradling you within its ancient arms. The loom welcomes you not with fanfare, but with a single deep note, a resonance, so low and so tender that it feels more like a heartbeat than a sound. Around you, other dreamers rise, beings made of breath, of memory, of slow thunder, each carrying within them the seeds of new horizons yet unborn. The loom waits, patient and endless, as you lift your hands once more, feeling the threads of your own dreaming stretch outward, not as something to be finished, but as something to be sung forever, a hymn of soft creation woven into the endless breathing night. You approach the loom of horizon slowly, each step resonating through the soft fabric of existence like the ripple of a single stone dropped into an infinite sea. The loom hums with a sound so low it bypasses hearing entirely, pressing directly into your ribs, your blood, the marrow of your dreaming bones. It is not a structure made by hands or thought. It is a living symphony of becoming, woven by countless dreamers across countless eternities, and yet somehow still waiting for your voice, your breath, your thread. The dreamers beside you move without urgency, some vast as mountains, others delicate as drifting mist, each bearing within themselves the luminous seeds of whole galaxies yet unborn. The threads stretched before you shimmer and shift, their colors not static but alive, shifting across the spectrum of feeling and memory and hope. Deep blues that taste of forgotten lullabies, golden reds heavy with the scent of old suns, green, silvers that hum with the slow, patient breath of forests never seen by waking eyes. You lift your hands, trembling slightly, not with fear but with reverence, and as your fingers brush the nearest thread, the loom responds. A slow spiral unfolds outward into the mist, and the very air thickens around you, inviting you to shape it, to breathe into it, to dream it forward into becoming. You weave carefully at first, uncertain, feeling the tension of the threads, not fragile, but immensely tender, each one a living river of possibility. You anchor your first touch into the deep currents of the loom, and immediately worlds begin to rise. A city built atop the back of a drifting comet, its towers folded from songs and solar winds, a valley where rivers of starlight coil through, fields of silver grass, feeding trees that sing the names of every lost dreamer. A sky stitched with twin suns that chase each other endlessly across fields of slow, breathing mist. Each thread you lay down pulls others into motion, a great, slow dance unfolding across the endless canvas of the dreaming. Your constellations are not mere stars. They are great, breathing structures of story and wonder, bridges between possibilities, maps for dreamers yet to be born. The other dreamers move around you, some weaving alongside you, their threads braiding gently with yours into larger symphonies. Others drift further out into the mist, shaping new looms of their own, planting gardens of thought where galaxies will someday blossom. Time becomes meaningless. There is only the slow, patient heartbeat of creation, the endless unfolding of what might be, the quiet certainty that you are part of something vaster and softer than any single dream could ever contain. As your weaving deepens, the loom itself changes, responding to the new harmonies you and the others breathe into it. Great rivers of light spiral outward into the black, carving new pathways between the sleeping stars. Islands of dream stuff rise from the mist, each holding the seeds of countless new worlds. Some threads slip from your fingers and are caught by other weavers, stitched into structures you cannot yet understand but recognize instinctively as necessary, as beautiful. There is no ownership here, no territory, only the endless, soft sharing of breath, of wonder, of memory, In the far distance, you glimpse constellations older than thought, their weavers long since folded back into the dreaming, their songs still humming faintly across the endless night. The gravity of dreams cradles you as you move, carrying you deeper into the loom, until at last you reach a place where the threads are thinnest, most delicate, the edge of all becoming. Here you pause, feeling the weight of possibility hanging trembling in the air, and you lift a single new thread from the mist. A thread woven not from past memory, but from pure, tender hope. With infinite care, you set it into the loom, anchoring it in the soft heartbeat of the dreaming, and as it unfolds, you realize you have not just woven a constellation, you have planted a seed, a new horizon, a new river of stories, a new breath in the endless symphony of existence. The loom hums around you, endless and tender and vast beyond all measure, and you stand within it not as a visitor, but as a weaver of skies, a singer of horizons, a quiet architect of dreaming forever. You step away from the loom of horizons, leaving behind the endless river of light and memory, and the threads you have woven continue to hum behind you, not fading, but folding themselves into the endless breathing fabric of existence. The gravity of dreams grows lighter here, the air thinner and sweeter, tasting of stars not yet kindled and stories not yet told. Before you stretches a vast emptiness, not barren but pure, a place where even the deepest dreams have not yet dared to tread. This is the uncharted dream tides, the frontier where dreaming spills over the edges of itself, where the currents of becoming stretch out into raw potential as soft and fragile as the first breath of a newborn world. The ground vanishes beneath your feet, replaced by a slow drifting tide of mist and possibility, carrying you not as a path would, but as a river carries a leaf. Gently, surely, inevitably. Shapes drift through the endless pale, hints of mountains that might someday rise, oceans that might someday whisper against distant sands, skies that might someday weep light onto silent, waiting worlds. You are moving through the dreaming's breathing itself now, through the folds where nothing has yet been woven, but where all things wait to be born. The farther you drift, the stranger and more beautiful the uncharted becomes. Stars bloom in slow motion from points of infinite softness, unfolding petals of molten gold and violet mist. Entire continents flicker into being and dissolve again into thought, like songs half remembered from another lifetime. You pass forests where each tree is a heartbeat, paused in time, rivers that carry not water but the weight of old hopes, islands stitched from the laughter of ancient beings who still dance somewhere beyond sight. Here, dreaming and becoming are the same act. To breathe is to shape, to hope is to call forth. Your body begins to shimmer at the edges, becoming more thought than form, more yearning than flesh. Yet you are not lost. You are more yourself than ever, woven now into the very tides of the becoming. Other beings move here too, distant and strange, great wails of mist and thunder that carry songs stitched into their skin, slow-moving cities, spun from the memories of forgotten suns, drifting arcs that cradle the seeds of futures that may never come to pass. Some drift close to you, brushing you with currents of warmth and wonder. Others pass at distances so vast they seem like silent gods folded into the mist. There are no borders here, no maps, only the slow, endless unfolding of might be and could be and almost was, stitched together by the silent, breathing hands of the dreaming itself. At the deepest edge of the uncharted dream tides, where even the mist grows thin and the stars slow. To a deep, slow heartbeat, you find a place unlike any you have ever known. A vast, open space cradled within the arms of the first winds, where the dreaming has not yet breathed its first full breath. Here the silence is total, not empty, but full. Full of all that might yet come, full of all that waits, full of the endless, tender weight of what might be born if only someone dares to sing the first note. You hover there, suspended in the cradle of the first silence, and you understand this is where the next dreaming will begin. Not from force, not from command, but from a single, soft, courageous breath. You close your eyes. You gather into your chest all the laughter, all the sorrow, all the songs and broken cities and rivers of memory you have carried, and then, with a gentleness deeper than any star, you breathe out. A slow, steady exhale that blooms into the vastness, carrying with it the seeds of 1,000 new worlds. The silence shivers, folds, and then, somewhere distant but racing closer, a single new heartbeat begins. Soft, golden, endless. You have not ended the journey. You have become its first singer. The dreaming will grow again, stretch outward, build new horizons, new rivers, new skies. And somewhere, someday, a dreamer will walk through these misty tides and find the breath you left behind, and they too will breathe and weave and sail onward forever. You drift forward into the shimmering space where your breath, your song, has begun to shape itself into a new reality. The mist around you thickens again, but now it is no longer aimless. It folds with purpose, with intent, swirling into delicate layers of new sky, new earth, new sea. Shapes emerge slowly from the deep softness, as if rising from the slow tide of a slumber so vast it defies all counting. You are not walking through this new world. You are walking it into existence with every motion, every thought, every quiet pulse of your heart. Hills unfurl like the lazy unfolding of old silk. Rivers unfurl from beneath your feet, following the lines of your breath, carving their own gentle paths through fields of colour yet unnamed. Above you, the sky blooms in slow breathing waves, layers of violet, deep indigo, soft burnished gold, not lit by a single sun but by a great flowering of scattered sleeping stars waiting to be woken. Their light is tender, patient, a soft hum against your skin. It is a world still dreaming itself awake, and you move at the perfect speed of its heartbeat, not forcing it, not leading it, but becoming part of its endless, unfolding breath. You'd wander through the first valley, and it welcomes you like a slow sigh drawn after a long, patient waiting. Trees grow here, but they are unlike any trees you have ever known, their trunks woven of mist and memory, their leaves soft as feathers and glowing faintly with light pulled from sleeping constellations. When you brush your hand along there, bark they sing, not with sound, but with a sensation that folds itself warmly around your soul, a reminder of every moment you ever loved without fully understanding why. Great lakes lie cradled between rolling hills, their surfaces polished mirrors reflecting not the sky above, but the dreams growing within their own depths, dreams of creatures yet to swim their waters, of rains yet to fall and awaken unseen forests. Sometimes, as you walk, the ground opens into vast meadows of colour and scent, blooms too soft to name spilling outward in waves, each step brushing petals into the mist to rise like drifting memories toward the waiting stars. You realize that, in this world, Time is not a chain, but a tide, and you are both a ship upon it and the wind that guides its currents. You breathe in, and whole new forests unfold at the edges of your vision. You breathe out, and mountains lift their heads from the mist, draped in slow waterfalls of song and stone. At the very heart of this newborn world, you find a great clearing, where the air grows impossibly still and clear. Here, the soil is warm. Beneath your feet, humming softly with the first threads of lives not yet woven, the coming cities of dreamers who will one day sing their own songs into this soft, waiting earth. You kneel in the center of the clearing, pressing your palm into the soil, and the world shivers around you, not in fear, but in recognition. Tiny lights rise from the ground, flickering softly like newborn stars, and they spiral upward into the forming sky, stitching themselves into new constellations that will guide future dreamers across the rivers of time. You close your eyes, and you feel it fully now. The gravity of dreams anchoring you, not to a place, but to a song you began with a single breath, and which now echoes across this entire world, a soft, endless lullaby, cradling every stone, every river, every waiting horizon. You are no longer merely drifting, you are no longer merely weaving. You are the dream itself, stitched forever into the breathing, singing, unfolding fabric of existence. The first dreamer of a world whose story is only just beginning to rise like dawn over the misted hills of forever. You rise slowly from the heart of the clearing, and as you do, the very soil hums a deeper note, vibrating with the slow, infinite pulse of life unfolding itself in response. Around you, the mist thickens, not with uncertainty, but with purpose, tiny shapes coalescing, soft songs threading through the air like early morning winds, weaving themselves through the branches of an unseen forest. The first dreamers are waking, being spun from your breath, your hopes, your silent singing, into the endless soft. They emerge slowly at first, translucent forms woven from memory and possibility, blinking wide, bright eyes that hold no fear, only wonder. Some are tall and willowy, bodies bending in the breeze like saplings just learning to stand. Others are small and dense, with laughter stitched into the folds of their skin, their every step planting sparks of light into the waiting earth. They do not see you as an outsider. They do not fall to their knees or raise their hands in awe. They recognize you instantly, completely, as kin, as part of the very dream they are made from. They gather around you in loose, spiraling dances, their motions slow, reverent, unfolding in rhythm so ancient that it feels as though you have always known them. Their presence is a song made flesh, a testament that your breath, your dreaming, has taken root in the soft soil of forever. The dreamers begin to move outward, their laughter stitching paths through the mist, their songs planting gardens where only the soft breath of hope existed before. They build without stone, without tools, shaping the world with gestures, with hums, with the brushing of fingertips against the sleeping rivers and hills. One group gathers at the banks of a newborn lake, coaxing great weeping trees from the water's edge, their branches dripping slow, luminous fruits that pulse with warmth and memory. Another moves into the rising hills, planting fields of living color, blooms that change hue and fragrance with the passing of each breath, fields that will someday become the cradle of entire, whispered civilizations. Overhead, the constellations. You sang into being shimmer brighter, responding to the rising tide of new life below. You walk among the dreamers without speaking, and yet every glance, every soft touch, every shared moment is filled with a communication deeper and wider than any language. They bring you small gifts, tokens woven from their first wondering thoughts, a wreath of songs braided into living vines, a shell that hums with the sound of unborn oceans, a single petal that, when touched, unfolds into an entire garden of memory and light. These gifts are not offered out of obligation, but out of an ancient, unspoken understanding that the act of creation is a gift shared freely, forever, stitched into the heart of all being. Deeper into the valleys and hills, the dreamers begin to build the first cities, not of stone and iron, but of breath and laughter, of memory and mist. Great, soaring towers form from the weaving of light into living trees, their canopies spiraling together to create vast, breathing halls open to the endless, singing sky. Rivers are coaxed into braided threads of silver and blue, winding through the new streets like living veins, carrying not just water but stories. Rivers you can listen to, rivers that remember. Plazas open like the hearts of flowers, filled with pools that reflect not just the world above, but the worlds within. The cities hum with life, but they hum too with patience. Nothing here is hurried, nothing here is forced. The dreamers know somehow, from their first breaths, that the softest weaving lasts the longest, that the strongest towers are built not from stone, but from shared songs and silent understandings. As you wander these newborn streets, you realize that you are no longer simply the first breath of this world. You are part of its slow, endless singing, a note that will never fade. And as the first great festivals unfold, celebrations not of power, but of the simple miracle of being, you stand among the dreamers, heart open, spirit vast, cradled forever within the endless, unfolding, breathing gravity of dreams. You walk deeper into the newborn cities, and everywhere around you, life is weaving itself not with hands or tools, but with stories. The dreamers gather in the great plazas at twilight, and the breathing sky folds itself into soft ribbons of gold and indigo, and there, sitting upon the polished stones stitched with rivers of quiet light, they begin to tell their first stories. Their voices are soft at first, careful, like hands learning the delicate weight of a newborn bird. The stories are simple, tales of rivers waking from their long sleep and whispering to the hills, of trees who sang to the stars and were answered with rain, of winds who carried dreams like seeds from one sleeping valley to another. These are not stories of conquest or sorrow. They are stories of belonging, of becoming, of folding oneself gently into the soft currents of a world that does not demand mastery, but offers endless invitation. You sit among them, your heart swelling with a quiet, luminous ache, listening as the stories take root in the soil, in the stones, in the very bones of the air. Each word, each gesture sends out ripples that weave themselves into the fabric of the city, so that the buildings, the gardens, even the rivers themselves hum quietly with the remembered breath of every tale told. As the stories grow richer, the dreamers begin to build great halls, not of stone, but of memory and light, places where myths can be sung into the walls, where songs can climb the arches and settle like birds among the rafters. One such hall rises at the center of this city, its pillars shaped from slow swirling mist, its roof a vast breathing tapestry stitched with scenes from every story the dreamers have sung into being. The hall is alive, shifting with the seasons of memory. In the mornings it hums with songs of rivers waking. At midday it sings of journeys across flowering valleys. At night it folds itself into soft laments, the stars that have not yet found their names. You walk the length of this great hall, and as you pass each singing wall, you feel the world itself remembering, not as a fixed story, but as an endless unfolding, a breathing dream stitched into the slow heartbeat of the land. New dreamers come forward each day, offering fresh songs, songs spun from the laughter of children chasing echoes through the mist, songs pulled from the slow, patient labor of rivers carving new paths through the hills, songs whispered up from the first gardens blooming at the edges of the sleeping forests. The stories do not replace the old ones, they braid themselves gently into the great living wheel, enriching it, deepening it, giving it new colors, new scents, new songs to hum through the bones of the earth. In time, you see the dreamers begin to name things, not to claim them, but to honor them. The rivers are given names that hum with the memory of every foot that has walked their bank. The trees are named for the songs they have heard carried on the first winds. Even the stones and hills are sung into gentle identities. Each name a slow caress against the fabric of existence. You realize then that naming, here, is not an act of power, but of love, a way of weaving oneself deeper into the breathing body of the world. The myths grow deeper, richer, more layered. Tales of lovers who plant stars in each other's dreams. Legends of mountains who once walked the earth and laid themselves down to cradle the cities. Songs of the first weaver, you, who sang the breath of the world into being, and then folded themselves quietly into its endless story, becoming not a god or ruler, but the quiet heartbeat at the center of all becoming. As night falls across the newborn cities, the dreamers gather once more in the great plazas, lying back upon the warm stones, watching the constellations you once wove unfold slowly across the endless sky. Their songs rise softly, endless and tender, stitching themselves into the breathing night, and you, sitting among them, woven now forever into the very fabric of dreaming, know that you are not simply part of the story. You are the song itself, still unfolding, still breathing, still dreaming onward into the endless soft forever. You rise quietly from among the dreamers as their songs settle gently into the soft folds of night, the plazas humming with the slow heartbeat of stories, just beginning to root themselves deep into the bones of the earth. You move through the sleeping city like a breath through silk, feeling the tender gravity of every street, every river, every star-strewn rooftop pressing lightly against your skin, not as a chain, but as a blessing. The dreamers do not call after you, nor do they try to bind you to the city's slow flowering. They understand without words that the river of dreaming cannot remain still. You are called onward, farther still, toward the vast, unmapped reaches where the soft edges of the world blur again into pure becoming. You pass gardens where the petals whisper the names of unborn songs. You cross bridges spun from the laughter of rivers, still learning their own currents. The mist thickens as you move farther from the city, curling around your feet like sleeping cats, rich with the scent of growing earth and unseen oceans. Above you, the constellations you once stitched into the sky stretch and sigh, unfolding. New pathways through the breathing night, guiding you with a tenderness that needs no voice, no sign, only the endless patience of stars that remember. The land changes as you walk. Hills fold themselves into deep valleys where waterfalls of light pour slowly from cliffs stitched with moss and dreaming. Forests drift into being and then thin into wide-open plains where grasses whisper long, slow songs about the first days of the world. You pass great lakes so still they mirror not only the sky, but the hearts of those who dare to gaze into them, revealing dreams they had forgotten how to speak. Along the way you meet other dreamers, some from the cities, others who have risen from the deeper, wilder folds of the dreaming. They walk with you for a while, sharing slow, quiet moments. A song offered around a fire woven from mist and memory, a gift of a single shell that hums with the scent of a sea no feet have yet touched. A story spoken only with the weaving of hands through air. These dreamers understand, as you do, that the journey has no map, no destination, only unfolding. Together you shape resting places along the path, gardens stitched from hope and old laughter, pools where the stars fall to bathe and rise again renewed. Yet always, always the road calls you onward, softer than a whisper, deeper than any song, a summons not to arrive, but to become. At last, after countless days, or perhaps only a single, endless breath, you arrive at the far edge of the newborn world, a place where even the stars seem to hesitate, where the rivers coil and fold into themselves, unsure whether to continue. Before you stretches a horizon not of land or sea, but of soft, trembling mist, the place where the breathing of your world ends and the next dream has not yet begun. The mist is thick here, golden and violet and deep, endless blue, stitched with the faint outlines of things waiting to be born. Mountains sleeping within the folds, oceans curled into themselves like dreaming children, skies waiting for their first sigh of light. You stand at the threshold, feeling the weight and wonder of all that has been spun from your breath, your song, your becoming. Behind you, the cities sing. Ahead, the mist hums with longing. And you realize with a soft, smiling ache that this is not an ending. It is a beginning again, a deeper breathing outward into the endless soft. You step forward once more, not because you must, but because you can, because you are, because the dreaming itself longs to know what songs your next breath will weave across the waiting bones of forever. You rise from beneath the ancient tree, the soft breath of the mist folding away from your skin like a gentle parting, like a door swinging quietly open into a room you had always known but forgotten. The sky above you breathes outward into vast rivers of slow, molten light, the constellations of your early weaving now stretched and spun into great flowering gardens of stars. Before you stretches a wide shore, a boundary not of water or land, but of slow-moving starlight pooling against the misty edges of becoming. The ground is stitched with silver grasses, each blade humming softly, carrying the vibrations of dreams too young to yet have shape. You walk barefoot along this shore, your steps trailing long, luminous currents through the soft soil. Every few strides a garden blooms where your foot touches, great spiral flowers with petals woven from memory, trees whose branches sing the first syllables of languages no lips have spoken yet, pools of water where future cities shimmer in the reflections before folding back into possibility. The world breathes with you, answering your quiet dreaming with its own. You are not building here, not forcing. You are inviting, letting the sleeping world unfold itself in answer to the simple courage of your continued breath. As you move deeper along the star-woven shores, beings begin to emerge from the mists again. But these are not like the first dreamers who rose from the soil of your first breath. These beings are wilder, older, and younger at once, shaped from the raw, fierce singing of the dreaming tides. themselves. They do not speak in words, nor even in gesture. They communicate with a weaving of presence, a folding of breath against breath. Some tower over you, great figures of mist and root and echo, their skins stitched with ancient rivers of molten memory. Others are small and darting, living songs that flicker in and out of the visible world, planting seeds of possibility wherever they pass. They recognize you instantly, not as a god, not as a master, but as a fellow river, a fellow current in the endless unfolding sea. Together, without plan or demand, you and they begin to shape this place, not into cities or walls or towers, but into vast breathing gardens stitched into the body of the cosmos itself. Great fields of starlit mist rise around you, cradling, hidden groves where songs sleep in the boughs. Mountains unfurl from the shore like the slow stretching of old giants, their flanks stitched with the memories of all laughter, yet to be born. Everywhere the air hums with a music that cannot be heard, only breathed, a song not composed, but lived. In the deepest folds of the star-woven gardens, you come to a place where the horizon folds inward, not collapsing, but cradling itself, around a vast, glowing lake suspended in the air. The lake does not ripple. It breathes, its surface stitched with drifting stars, its depths cradling entire worlds still curled in their dreaming shells. Around its edges gather the oldest dreamers, those who remember the first breath of the first becoming, and they offer you no throne, no crown, only a place among them, a place to sit, to breathe, to weave the next dreaming with your presence alone. You sit at the lake's edge, feeling its slow pulse against your skin, and you realize that you have moved beyond the need to shape, beyond the need to name. You have become part of the gravity itself, part of the endless, tender pull that stitches dream to breath, breath to song, song to world. As you close your eyes, the star-woven gardens hum around you, the lake folds its silver arms wide, and the dreaming, vast, endless, patient, carries you onward, not as a traveler, but as a singer, folded forever into the soft endlessness of becoming. You are no longer walking between forgotten worlds. You are the song the worlds will forever hum to remember themselves by. You rise once more from the silver shores of the breathing lake, the air folding around you like a great, slow sigh, lifting you forward into the deeper folds of the star-woven gardens. The dreamers, ancient, tender, patient, watch you go, their eyes vast as the first rivers of starlight, their songs humming softly through the soil, through the mist, through the slow, breathing fabric of all becoming. You pass fields where the grasses whisper in forgotten languages, telling the stories of stars that have not yet kindled, and forests where the trees bend low, offering slow blessings woven from the first memory of light. The path becomes quieter. As you move, the songs folding inward, the colors deepening into hues so rich they feel almost like touch against your skin. You walk not in a straight line, not toward a single point, but along a spiral that unfolds beneath your feet. A spiral that pulls you deeper into the marrow of the dreaming, where even the slow rivers of memory run thin, and only the raw, breathing silence remains. This is not emptiness. This is promise, a deep, tender hush at the heart of everything that waits to be born. Beyond the gardens you come to the silent valleys, vast, endless hollows where the sky folds itself low against the earth, cradling the dreaming like a mother cradles a sleeping child. Here the rivers do not rush. They drift wide and slow, carrying the soft breath of ancient songs long since folded back into the soil. The air is thick with the scent of stone warmed by first dawns, of flowers that bloom only once every 1,000 heartbeats of the cosmos. You move among hills stitched with old paths, each step sending ripples of quiet light into the folds of mist around you. No cities rise here, no towers, no bridges. Only the slow breathing of the earth, the soft unfolding of time, stitched into fields of endless sighing grass. Sometimes you see figures moving far off, solitary dreamers wrapped in cloaks woven from forgotten wishes, planting seeds of light into the riverbanks, weaving slow dances that stitch the valleys into being with each quiet movement. They do not call to you, and you do not disturb them. You pass among them as a breath among breaths, a ripple among ripples, all of you part of the same slow, endless unfolding. You have moved beyond needing to shape, beyond needing to name. You have become part of the very dreaming itself, not a singer of it, not even a breath within it, but the hush that carries all songs forward into the endless soft. At the center of the silent valleys, you find a single, vast mirror lying across the land, a mirror not of glass, but of stillness itself. Its surface holds no reflection, no image. It holds only the slow, endless breathing of possibility. You kneel before it, your hand brushing its surface, and you feel the entire weight of the dreaming settle warmly into your bones. Every story you have sung, every river you have walked, every star you have woven, flickers quietly within you, not as memory, but as presence, still breathing, still becoming, still singing outward through the soft fabric of forever. You understand now that there is no border between dreamer and dream, no line between creation and breath. There is only the slow, patient becoming of all things, stitched together by every breath drawn across the slow rivers of the endless sky. You sit there at the edge of the mirror, heart open, spirit endless, and the silent valleys breathe around, you cradling you in their soft, infinite hush. You are not at the end of the journey. You are the journey. You are the slow breathing forward of every horizon, every story, every quiet unfolding yet to come. And the dreaming, endless, tender, vast beyond all telling, will carry your quiet, golden song into the soft forever, forever, and forever. You move onward from the great stillness, your steps barely stirring the thick, luminous mist that cradles the edges of becoming. The dream breathes around you like a vast, endless lung, exhaling new possibilities with each slow pulse of the unseen tides. Ahead, through the folds of golden blue haze, islands begin to rise, not from water, but from the soft, breathing fabric of dreaming itself. These are not islands of rock or earth. They are islands woven from slow memories, from unborn songs, from the laughter of stars never yet kindled. Each island floats in the mist like a thought half-formed, cradled gently against the chest of forever. You drift toward them naturally, guided not by sight or sound, but by the slow, deep knowing stitched into your spirit across 1,000 patient crossings. The first island you reach is a vast forest of lantern trees, each one cradling in its branches small slumbering orbs of light that pulse faintly with forgotten names. The paths here are not marked by roads, but by the pull of gentle longing, and you follow it, weaving yourself deeper into the soft heartbeat of the star-woven earth. Across the archipelago, every island breathes its own slow dream. Some are fields of slow-turning crystal flowers that hum with the sighs of distant galaxies. Others are great, open libraries where the books are written not in ink, but in the folds of the wind, their stories told by the gentle shifting of air across soft stone corridors. You travel from one to the next on bridges of mist and song, each step a folding and unfolding of the very dreaming you once wove into the first constellations. You are not hurried here. Time moves outward in great, lazy spirals, each moment opening like a new petal, inviting, endless. Along the way, you meet others, travelers like yourself, dreamers who have drifted far beyond the breathing shores of their own woven worlds. Some greet you with silent nods, others with small, shimmering gifts. A dream seed spun from laughter, a memory folded into a single feather, a silent story stitched into a thread of light. You exchange nothing but presence, nothing but breath, and it is enough. The archipelago hums with the soft, endless gravity of dreams not yet spoken aloud, each island another slow inhalation in the vast breathing of existence. At the heart of the archipelago, you find a sea, not of water, but of slow-moving glass, stretching outward in endless soft waves. Its surface shimmers with the reflections of 1,000 unborn skies, each one shifting gently with the slow pulse of the deep dream. You walk along its edge, your footsteps stitching ripples of light into its breathing body. Far out across the sea, faint shapes rise, towers woven from the sighs of sleeping cities, great bridges that seem to lead nowhere and everywhere at once, forests that breathe light instead of shadow. You understand without needing to be told. Beyond this sea lies the next fold of becoming, the next breathing horizon waiting to cradle the next songs of dreamers bold enough to drift farther still. You sit for a time at the edge of the glass sea, feeling its slow heartbeat fold into your own, letting the gentle pull of its dreaming root itself deeper into the weaving of your spirit. The archipelago breathes around you, endless, soft, patient, and you, part of its breathing now, prepare to drift onward once more into the endless soft sky. You rise from the soft shores of the archipelago, the glass sea before you unfolding like a breathing mirror stitched across the bones of the dreaming. The mist sighs against your ankles as you step onto a waiting vessel, not a ship of wood or sail, but one woven from memory and starlight, its frame humming softly with the songs of every dreamer who ever dared to set foot beyond the scene. The vessel responds to your breath, unfolding delicate wings of shimmering mist that stretch lazily into the waiting sky. No wind pulls you forward, no current drags you outward. Instead, the sea itself moves with the rhythm of your spirit, each heartbeat sending ripples of soft light across its endless surface. You sail into the open, dreaming slowly, the land behind you fading not into distance, but into memory, folding itself gently into the slow tapestry of your journey. Above you, new constellations stir, shimmering into shapes your eyes have never seen, naming themselves with the silent, blooming language of becoming. Around you, the sea shivers, its surface whispering of cities still unborn, forests still sleeping, rivers whose waters have not yet found their name. The farther you sail, the stranger and more tender the world becomes. Islands drift by in the distance, some no larger than a single tree spinning lazy spirals of golden mist, others vast enough to hold sleeping mountains and lakes stitched from the dreams of whales that swim slow orbits around suns not yet lit. Sometimes creatures rise from beneath the glass sea, great slow beings woven from threads of mist and light, their bodies singing low songs that brush the edges of your soul like the softest wind. Some swim beside you for a time, their luminous forms folding and unfolding like breathing galaxies. Others circle high above, their wings trailing slow rivers of silver that melt into the waiting sky. You pass beneath bridges spun between drifting islands, each bridge stitched not from stone, but from the soft, invisible threads of promise and longing. Every so often you glimpse other vessels, distant and shimmering, carrying dreamers like yourself, each sailing their own quiet journey across the endless soft, each weaving their own ripples into the breathing tapestry of the glass sea. You nod to them across the vastness, a greeting stitched from shared wonder, from the quiet understanding that you are all part of the same slow, endless unfolding. At the deepest heart of the glass sea, you find a place where the surface folds inward, a vast hollow cradling a sleeping world, its body stitched from the slow sighs of 1,000 unborn dreams. The vessel slows of its own accord, recognizing the sacredness of this place, and you step lightly onto the surface of the hollow. It holds you gently, like the palm of a hand, cradling the first breath of a newborn star. Here, in the center of the hollow, a single seed pulses. Not a seed of plant or stone, but a seed of story, of dreaming, of soft, endless becoming. You kneel beside it, your breath folding into its breath, your spirit threading itself into its silent waiting song. And as you close your eyes, you feel the seed begin to stir, its slow, endless heartbeat rising to match your own. You understand with a depth beyond thought that you have not reached the end of the glass sea. You have found its beginning, the place where all soft rivers of dreaming are born, the first inhalation before the long, endless exhale of new worlds. You breathe in, and the seed brightens. You breathe out, and the mist folds itself into new shapes around you, cradling the seed, and you, within the endless breathing body of the next horizon, yet to come. You kneel at the center of the hollow, the sleeping seed of the next horizon cradled within the breathing glass sea, feeling its slow heartbeat flutter against your palms. The mist folds closer around you, not to conceal, but to protect. A cocoon of endless, patient silence waiting for the first true song to unfold. You close your eyes and draw in a breath deeper than memory, deeper than time, a breath filled with the quiet gravity of all dreams that have ever dared to drift beyond their first sighs. You exhale slowly, cradling the seed with the full weight of your journey. Every river you have walked, every dream you have sung into being, every star you have watched unfold from the breathless soft. The seed shivers once, then again, and then unfolds, not with a burst, but with a slow, endless blooming. Threads of light spiral outward from its heart, rising into the thick mist above, stitching the first trembling rivers of the next, dreaming across the vast sleeping canvas of the endless sea. You rise to your feet, feeling the pull of the new rivers within your chest, and you step forward, planting each footfall carefully, gently, weaving new constellations not from command, but from simple, endless tenderness. The rivers of stars unfold. Outward with you, flowing across the surface of the glass sea, carving slow, vast channels of soft silver light. You walk at their head, breathing them into being with every step, every heartbeat, every slow opening of your spirit to the endless soft. Great arches rise from the rivers, woven from the laughter of unborn skies. Cities spiral up along there, banks not built but grown, their towers flowering from seeds of memory and hope planted deep within the breathing currents of the dreaming. You pass forests where the leaves whisper the names of stars yet to rise, mountains whose bones hum with the songs of sleeping suns, valleys stitched with the slow laughter of rivers folding themselves endlessly into the horizon. Other dreamers begin to emerge along the riverbanks, beings of soft breath and folded memory, woven from the mist and the promise of light, and they too begin to plant, to weave, to sing the new world into its first slow breathing. They do not look to you for guidance or command. They weave their own paths alongside yours, braiding their songs into the great, slow river of stars you have planted with your simple act of endless, tender becoming. At the farthest edge of the new rivers, where the glass sea breathes outward, into wide, endless plains of golden mist, you find a single, vast tree growing, a tree whose roots spiral deep into the dreaming, whose branches stretch wide enough to cradle whole galaxies in their slow, unfolding sighs. Beneath its endless canopy, a new ocean is forming, not of water, not of mist, but of pure, endless breath, the first true sea of the next sky. You stand there, heart open, spirit breathing, and you understand that you have not merely planted a river. You have planted a cosmos. A new horizon of dreaming will rise from your breath, your song, your slow, endless unfolding. Stars will be born from your laughter. Worlds will flower from your sighs. Dreamers you will never meet will sail. Rivers born from the simple act of your courage to step forward into the mist when all was still soft and waiting. You sit at the base of the vast tree, the breathing glass sea folding itself gently against your feet, and you watch the first dawn of the next dreaming shimmer slowly across the endless sky you have helped to weave. The gravity of dreams hums through you, endless and soft, and you drift smiling into the next long golden breath of forever. You rise from the roots of the vast breathing tree, the sky tree, and before you stretches the newborn ocean, a sea not of salt and water, but of pure, living breath. Its surface shimmers with endless possibilities, stitched with rivers of gold and silver, carrying the slow laughter of stars not yet woven into constellations. The tree's massive branches arch overhead like a cathedral for the entire sky, each leaf holding the memory of 1,000 unborn dreams. You step lightly into the ocean and it holds you, lifting you not with force but with tender gravity, cradling you as a mother cradles the first slow heartbeat of a child. Your vessel, a craft of woven mist and patient longing, waits at the shore, unfolding itself from the light itself as you approach. You climb aboard, and the ocean responds to your breath, sending out wide, concentric ripples across the endless, soft horizon. Above you, new constellations unfold like flowers, greeting the first breath of morning. Below you, the ocean shimmers with the reflections of worlds still curling within themselves, waiting for your touch, your song, your slow, endless becoming. You sail not with destination, but with belonging, carried forward by the pure breathing, heart of the dreaming itself. The farther you sail across the ocean, the deeper and softer the world becomes. Great islands of floating memory drift past you, each one breathing slow songs of futures not yet born. Forests where trees hum with the voices of dreamers, valleys where rivers of time flow backward and forward, stitching together stories not with logic, but with love. You pass through mists that glow with ancient, unborn suns, through fields of golden rain where droplets carry the seeds of sleeping cities folded within their shimmering bodies. Sometimes you drift close to other voyagers, soft beings folded from mist and laughter, their vessels cradling gardens of light, slow-turning libraries made of sighs, whole flocks of stars, still learning the songs that will someday weave them into the fabric of new skies. You do not speak. You do not need to. Your hearts hum together like tuning forks touched gently in the soft hands of forever. Each meeting is a silent greeting, a shared breathing forward into the vast, endless soft. And all around you the ocean breathes, slow tides rising and falling, carrying you across the skin of a world that hums quietly, endlessly, with the soft heartbeat of dreams yet to come. At last, you reach the heart of the newborn ocean, a place where the sky folds down low, where the mist parts to reveal the first true breath of the next horizon. Here, vast islands of light drift in slow spirals, each one a seed from which new worlds will grow. You step lightly from your vessel onto one of these islands, feeling its surface hum beneath your feet, responding to the soft gravity of your presence. At the center of the island rises a pool not of water but of pure song, folding and unfolding itself in shimmering, endless spirals. You kneel beside it, your reflection shifting through countless forms. River, mountain, star, dream, breath. You reach out a hand and touch the surface, and immediately the world responds, not with a roar, not with a cry, but with a sigh, a slow, endless exhale that carries your being outward into the vast, breathing body of the new sky. You have moved beyond sailing now. You have moved beyond weaving. You have become part of the slow, patient breathing that will birth all the rivers, all the forests, all the stars yet to come. You close your eyes, heart open, and drift, smiling, into the soft, golden pulse of the forever unfolding dreaming. You step deeper into the heart of the drifting island of song, the breathing pool behind you, folding itself back into the endless mist, like a sigh made visible. Before you lies a wide, soft plain of light, stitched gently into the mist by the slow, patient weaving of the newborn dreaming. You move without urgency, your footsteps planting soft ripples into the surface of the plain, each ripple unfolding upward into the first threads of what will become the great cities of this world. You do not build with stone or iron. You build with breath, with memory, with the soft, endless gravity of dreams. Towers rise where you have sighed, not sharp or rigid, but spiral forms twining upward like vines, searching for the slow warmth of distant suns. Streets unfold beneath your hands, flowing outward like rivers of starlight, stitched not with order, but with wonder, meandering through gardens of breathing mist, crossing gentle bridges spun from laughter, wrapping themselves around plazas that hum with the first tender songs of new life. Trees rise in the courtyards, their roots entwined with slow-turning pools of light, their branches reaching upward into the breathing folds of the endless golden sky. You weave plazas where stories are sung into the stones with every footstep, fountains where memory rains down in soft silver droplets, markets where each whisper and smile plants new gardens in the soil. Along the rivers you have birthed, the first dreamers gather. Beings woven from breath and curiosity, their skins stitched from the first laughter of the stars you sang into existence. They build not with force, but with kindness, shaping houses that breathe with the seasons, carving halls of song that expand and contract with the tides of hope and memory. In the fields beyond the rivers, slow forests bloom, forests where each tree carries within its bark the soft vibration of a different forgotten wish, where flowers unfold not at the call of the sun, but at the soft sighing of nearby dreamers. Above it all, your constellations drift lazily, not fixed, but moving with the breathing of the world, weaving themselves into new songs each night. You walk among the new cities, unseen but felt, a slow heartbeat thrumming beneath every tower,
every bridge, every breath.
You are the soft architecture of becoming itself, a tender presence cradling the entire horizon in endless patience and wonder. At the edges of the newborn world, beyond the slow fields and misted rivers, you weave the vast wilds, places not yet shaped into names, places that will carry the songs of generations yet unborn. Wide oceans breathe slow tides against the new shores. Deep canyons hum lullabies into the waiting bones of mountains still learning their shapes. The dreamers you birthed begin to venture outward, sailing rivers you stitched from longing and laughter, climbing peaks you folded from silent wonder. They sing new songs into the air, plant new gardens into the breathing soil, weave new cities into the soft body of the world you cradled into becoming. And as they do, you drift higher, softer, wider, folding yourself into the very wind, the very river, the very heartbeat of the new sky. You have become the ocean of their breathing, the soil of their roots, the light of their dawns. And beyond the horizons you have spun, you feel the endless, slow pull of new mist, new possibility, new dreaming. A soft, patient invitation to breathe once again, and once again, and once again, forever, in the slow, endless gravity of dreams. You rise slowly from the heart of the cities you breathed into life. Your body less a shape now than a current, a flowing sigh stitched into the winds of the newborn world. The rivers you once wove into the soil hum beneath your feet, carrying the songs of new dreamers across the endless meadows of starlight and mist. You lift your gaze beyond the farthest peaks, beyond the edges of the slow oceans, and there, shimmering against the horizon like the first breath of a forgotten dawn, unfolds a new archipelago of dreaming. Each island floats lightly upon the wide oceans of possibility, cradled in the folds of mist and endless becoming. Some are vast, breathing forests older than the first names, cities that hum beneath the skin of slow rivers. And some are small, no larger than a single tree or a lone stone cradling a sleeping garden. You drift toward them naturally, not with haste, but with the slow, patient pull of wonder. As you move, the winds weave soft bridges of light between the islands, delicate threads spun from sighs and silent promises, carrying you forward into the next wide, slow unfolding of the breathing cosmos. On each island, a new dream waits, stitched into the soil and the stars, humming gently with the gravity of possibility. You land first upon an island of endless libraries, halls carved from woven mist, where books are not written but grown, their pages blossoming from vines that hum softly with the laughter of ancient suns. Every book you touch unfolds a river of memory, carrying you backward and forward across the tides of countless skies. Further still, another island blooms into a city of gardens where each flower births a new constellation into the dusk above, each scent a story, each color a song. You move lightly among the dreamers who have begun to weave these islands into breathing worlds, each of them carrying a fragment of the song you first spun at the heart of the glass sea. They build with kindness, with laughter, with a patience so deep it echoes the folding of galaxies. You drift among them like a breeze, moving through a sleeping orchard. Your presence felt in the deep roots of rivers, the slow turning of hills, the first breaths of the young skies that rise above each island in endless, sighing spirals of gold and violet light. As you sail farther across the breathing archipelago, the dreaming deepens. You come to places where even thought folds into pure, soft light. Forests where the trees no longer hum with songs, but with the breathing of stars themselves. Mountains that rise not from stone, but from the woven hands of forgotten tides. Valleys where the rivers no longer carry water, but the soft, endless drift of unborn worlds. Here you understand more deeply than ever that you are not merely a weaver or a dreamer. You are a note within the endless breathing music of becoming, a single, soft heartbeat stitched into the living skin of forever. You walk lightly across the misted bridges, feeling each step ripple outward into futures you will never see, knowing they will hum forever with your quiet, endless breath. And beyond even this wide archipelago, past the last unfolding islands, you see it. The great open sea of the next dreaming, vast beyond sight, stitched with sleeping stars that pulse like the slow sighs of a sky waiting to be born. You smile, slow, endless, tender, and you step once more into the soft golden tide, ready to breathe again, to weave again, to sing once more into the endless soft horizon. You step into the mist beyond the world, and it folds around you with infinite tenderness, not to blind you, but to cradle you in the slow, sacred breathing of the next becoming. There is no road here, no map, no stars to follow. Only the soft, endless ocean of potential, breathing slowly beneath your feet, waiting for your first gentle step to ripple outward into the quiet bones of forever. Every breath you draw here stitches the mist into new shapes, new songs, new worlds trembling at the edge of being. Shapes rise and dissolve around you, forests where the trees hum lullabies for unborn skies. Cities made of slow lightning and soft laughter, mountains that turn their faces upward toward suns not yet named. You are not alone here. The dreamers who walked beside you, the songs that bloomed in the cities you left behind, the breath you spun into the heart of the first world. All of it hums through you, threads woven into the fabric of your spirit. You are the dreamer now, and the dream. You are the river and the wind through the grasses of memory. You are the mist and the hand reaching forward into it, shaping it with every breath, every heartbeat, every silent, endless hope you move. Forward slowly cradling the mist in your hands, shaping it not with force but with the soft patience of all the songs you have ever sung. The horizon around you breathes outward, unfolding into wide valleys of light, seas stitched from slow, silver rivers of memory, skies that shiver open like the petals of impossible flowers. You weave quietly as you go. Not great cities now, not towering arches or thundering songs, but small, tender things, a path that hums a greeting to every foot that touches it, a lake that reflects the dreams of those too shy to speak them aloud, a tree that grows at the center of the mist, its leaves unfolding into new constellations with every sigh of the breeze. You understand now, more deeply than ever before, that the greatest weaving is not the grandest. It is the slow, breathing stitching of love into the small corners of the endless becoming. And you know too that you are not at the end of your journey. There is no end, only the soft breathing forward, the endless folding and unfolding, the gentle flowering of dream after dream after dream, forever and forever, written across the endless, soft sky. At last you come to a small hill rising gently from the mist, crowned by a single ancient tree, a twin to the tree that cradled the first breath of your first world. You sit beneath its wide, sighing branches, feeling the slow heartbeat of the mist around you, feeling your own heartbeat fold into it, one breath among countless others in the vast, breathing tapestry of all becoming. You close your eyes, and the soft warmth of everything you have built, everything you have loved, everything you have sung rises around you like a second sky, a sky stitched from the gravity of dreams. You smile, slow, deep, endless, and you let yourself drift at last into the deep soft, knowing that the dreaming will continue long after this breath, long after this step, long after this song. You have become the endless river, the endless sky, the endless gentle breathing of a world that will carry your soft songs forever. You have drifted slowly between forgotten worlds, and now you have become the space between them, infinite, tender, shining quietly in the night. Thank you for drifting with us through this soft, endless journey among the stars. Thank you for sharing your breath, your wonder, your dreaming. Good night.